Hej, czas na wielki Speedway. Jesteśmy dzisiaj w Lesznie, gdzie już za momencik rozpocznie się druga runda indywidualnych Mistrzostw Świata Juniorów. A jak Leszno, to ze mną nikt inny jak dwaj złoci chłopcy, zwycięzcy młodzieżowych Mistrzostw Polski par, Bartek Smektała i Dominik Kubera. Witam was panowie.
Hej, witamy serdecznie.
Chciałabym ciebie, Domin, poprosić, jako że jesteś za sterami naszego bolidu, o to, żebyś w tym naszym przejeździe wybierał te ścieżki, którymi będziesz się poruszał w swoim pierwszym biegu, a ciebie, Bartek, poproszę o komentarz.
No więc bardzo właśnie Dominik bardzo dobrze wjechał w ten łuk, już delikatnie środkiem toru. Z tego co dobrze kojarzę, Dominik jedzie w czwartym biegu, także już będzie delikatniej, szerzej można było jechać, więc ta ścieżka jest jak najbardziej optymalna. Myślę, że ja też z tej ścieżki będę korzystał.
Wy jeździcie w jednej drużynie, cały czas trenujecie na tym torze. Chciałabym zapytać, czy mimo, że to są zawody indywidualne, to jednak gdzieś tam będziecie sobie troszeczkę pomagać?
No jak najbardziej, zresztą na ostatnim finale, w którym startowaliśmy w Daugavpils, też sobie pomagaliśmy, wymienialiśmy się doświadczeniami po każdym biegu. Także no, jesteśmy tutaj w Lesznie, chcemy przede wszystkim pokazać dobry żużel dla kibiców. Zawsze współpracujemy, nieważne jakie to są zawody, także dzisiaj też zamierzamy.
No właśnie, zawsze współpracujecie, to jak staniecie dzisiaj pod taśmą wspólnie w jednym z biegów, to będziecie potrafili rywalizować ze sobą jak przeciwnik z przeciwnikiem, czy będzie ciężko?
Myślę, że każdy z nas już jest na tyle doświadczony, że potrafi rozróżnić zawody indywidualne od drużynowych, więc sądzę, że będziemy rywalizować, ale zawsze, tak jak zawsze, to czynimy bardzo zdrowo i fair, więc będzie można obejrzeć dzisiaj super ściganie.
Dziękujemy bardzo, tyle od nas z toru, a teraz przekazujemy głos naszym komentatorom.
As well, and also plenty of people talking about Daniel Kaczmarek as well, who is a Leszno-born rider. Actually, is with Toruń now because he can't get into Leszno effectively with the power of Smektała and Kubera, but also Kaczmarek is keen to impress, as is the wildcard Victor Lampart as well. It really is the strong Polish team which qualified for the World Under-21 team. Well, didn't just qualify for the final of the Team Cup last weekend. They absolutely routed everybody else in their qualifier in Latvia, just showing once again the strength of Polish youngsters in the sport at present. But can Robert Lambert get in amongst them once again here tonight? Certainly we know he's good enough. He had what could be described as a chastening Grand Prix debut in Cardiff last night. We'll be talking about that with Sam Ermolenko throughout the evening, I'm sure. But today we know that the Under-21s is very much his priority. Desperate to try and win this series. He's doing well in the Speedway Euro Championship with that fantastic win in Güstrow last weekend as well. So most things going well for Lambert. Just won the night last night when, if it could go wrong, it did. And I'm sure that today is a new day for him, and he'll be all set to have a good one here in Leszno, where of course he rode last year in the World Cup. Wasn't a great night for him by any means. Again, the poles were so strong, and you would expect the home riders here to have a big say in proceedings. Interestingly, the draw for tonight's meeting pitched Drabic and Smektała against each other in their first ride in Heat 2, so that's certainly something that's going to be one to look out for. And the two Brits also, well, I hope they don't collide, but they clash in Heat 3, Dan Bewley and Robert Lambert. Dan Bewley very relaxed in the pits ahead of the meeting, nothing to lose. He's racing against real new riders for him, but making his way at this level and looking to do what he can as well as the riders get lined up. And we're having the presentations and the anthem very shortly. A real mixture of field here. We have some riders who are pretty much world class already, and we have riders who are trying to make it that way, and it will be interesting to see how things shape up this afternoon as to the overall standings, because Drabic, as I say, 3 points in front of Smektała, and Lambert also 3 points adrift as well. We're taking you through all the action, all 20 qualifying heats, 2 semi-finals and 1 final. The presentations are about to get underway in front of us on the start line. We're having the national anthem as well, and everyone lined up. So I think we're about to get ready for the Polish national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be outstanding for the national anthem of Poland.
Dziękuję Państwu bardzo.
So, getting set for action here in Leszno, round 2. The riders are about to be introduced to the crowd, and we say for the first time this evening, welcome to Sam Ermolenko. Sam, good evening, and looking forward to watching it be a good night.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's beautiful. The weather is absolutely stunning right now. There's a slight wind. Leszno really never underperforms when it comes to the riders' liking of this kind of a racetrack with the banking they have on it. Been down in the pits, met most of, well, a couple. I didn't get a chance to meet a lot of the riders because at the same time we got there, they were just getting changed and ready for tonight's race meeting. But talked to some of the mechanics, and I got to spot a couple of the team managers, and everybody seems pretty relaxed. Second round, you know, there's some big points to be gathered if you're on top of your game here at Leszno, but at the same time, they know who the heavy hitters are. So whether anybody can break any of the top 4 guys, today's the time to probably do it.
One interesting addition to the lineup compared to Daugavpils in late June is the appearance of Daniel Spiller in the meeting. He's replacing. He's come in because of injury in the first round in Daugavpils. Filip Hayek had an extraordinary crash when he basically went into a fallen bike, and he hasn't ridden since, and so Hayek has been ruled out, and Daniel Spiller comes into the meeting, and he'll be well known. There he is, by the way. He'll be well known to Eastbourne fans in the UK for his stint with the Eagles in 2015, but a big opportunity for him because he is highly rated, and a chance for him against some really big names in this event. But you're going down the lineup. There is Robert Lambert, who had a tough time, as I mentioned, in the British Grand Prix yesterday in Cardiff, and we'll discuss that, no doubt, as we go on throughout the proceedings. Joel Kling, who scored well for Sweden in the Under-21 Team Cup last week as well. We've seen Smektala, who received a very good reception, and Kaczmarek as well. As I say, many people talking about him as a possible outsider for success. That was Kumis, the Latvian, who was a permanent wildcard entry for the series this year. And Dominic Kubera, as with Smektala, gets a big welcome from the home crowd, and they'll be hoping for big things from him. He scored 12 in the first round. Drabic scored 20, Smektala scored 17, Lambert scored 17, Kubera and Mihailos, who was a wild card, scored 12, so Mihailos not here today. Fredrik Jakobsen scored 11, and he's a Dane that's certainly worth watching. 2 Danes that are going quite well this year, Jakobsen and Patrick Hansen. And Sam, you were talking to Hans Nielsen beforehand, and he's quite happy with the progress they're making.
Yeah, he says, you know, it's obviously a huge learning curve, and when you got somebody like Hans Nielsen, the professor, overlooking what you got to be paying attention to, he says, yeah, they're learning quite rapidly, and some of them are good. This track will definitely bring the boys and the racers out, if you know what I mean. You're either going to come at the start line and you're going to pay attention to what you have to do and what you've learned at this level in their career. But he seems pretty confident. And I did have a chat with Patrick as well, and he seems really keen, relaxed. I think that's the mode pretty much throughout the pits. Everybody seems to be pretty relaxed. I think they had a really good practice earlier, and they feel confident that things will probably go okay. Patrick
Hansen actually had a crash in the first round, crashed in his final programme ride, believing he'd actually needed more points than he did to make the semi-finals, and he hasn't ridden since, but did, as you say, practice today, and all seems okay. So there's the standings, by the way, from the first one, and no Dan Bury there, about just under halfway down the order on 7 points. Big learning curve for him. Great to see a second British rider in the series. But those 3 at the top, Drabic, Lambert and Smektala, they are 3 who you pretty much put in the, if not world class, certainly not far off it. It's just that certainly in the case of Drabic and Smektala, the route to the Grand Prix is a really difficult one because there's so many top holes, whereas Lambert, if he keeps on doing what he's doing, may well have an easier route into the Grand Prix. But those 3 at the top certainly are what you would call the world class or nearly world class riders.
Yeah, and the top of the pile here in the under-21 round that we got going on here at Leszno, their experience really oozes confidence on a track like this, and their equipment will be somewhat very competitive at the senior level. On the track right now, like I said, with that slight wind that's around, it's pretty difficult probably to keep the water into the track, but it had a lot of moisture in it. When I was walking the racetrack, I actually hooked up with the GB team out there, riders, and I was talking to Neil Batch, and he was saying to me that we stepped back a little bit and watched Dan Bewley and a couple of the riders walk around and just understand what this track can give a rider. Unless you've had that experience, you got to kind of learn it. But you know, he's pointing out a lot of the points that he knows, and Mark Courtney's with him as well, and he's got a heck of a lot of experience.
That's the Ribnick connection as
yeah,
well.
Yeah, that's
so.
right. So you know, he's be able to advise him. And we did talk a little bit about Dan Bewley, about how Dan doesn't really know any of most of the competitors he's racing against without that experience, so he fears nobody. And what's important for him, obviously, is to understand how to read the racetrack and the conditions, and possibly making sure that when he does dump the clutch and he's racing into the first corner, he doesn't get interfered by anybody else, and he might have half a chance. He's definitely got the talent, and he was fast. We did hear the promoter say to us, well, one of the organizers say to us that he was watching over him during the practice, and he was probably one of the only riders that was taking really big lines and squaring the corners off and trying different things on the racetrack. And this Leszno is the kind of track that will give a rider a lot of options.
Staged the World Cup final here last year. Leszno was staged big events for many, many years. Been a bit of a mad dash for some of the British contenders and backup crew, etc., because of Cardiff taking place yesterday. So Robert Lambert and Dan Bewley flew out of Bristol at 6:45 this morning. Neil Vatcher had an 8:30 flight out of Luton to get to Poznan, which is the nearest airport to Leszno. And myself and Sam, we had the relatively friendly 11:20 out of Standstill. Though 11:20 became about 12:45, so in a bit of a rush to get here. But actually, the reason why the meeting's taking place at this time and not earlier in the day is because of Cardiff yesterday and trying to make sure everyone can get here. Although I think in the end, Sam, that will be a good thing, because it was so hot earlier in the day, and you don't want to be running in 30-odd degrees if you can help it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ryanair didn't let us down again, but definitely caused a lot of issues with my confidence in them. But we got here at the end of the day.
Are available.
Yeah, yeah, and we were definitely. It would have been nice to have a couple more hours before this hour work starts, but all in all, we're here, and it's a gorgeous evening, and we're going to have some really great racing.
Just remind you of the format for this. As I mentioned, 3 rounds. We had Daugavpils a month or so ago, and Pardubice is the final round in the Czech Republic at the end of September. It's basically the Grand Prix format that you've become accustomed to over the years. So 20 qualifying heats. They all race each other over that period. 3, 2, 1 normal scoring. Top 8 to the semi-finals. Top 2 from those semis into the final, and all the points throughout the evening count. So the maximum is 21. Last year on one night. Last year, Maxim Drabic scored 21 in the first round in Poznan. Well, this year he scored 20 in the first round in Daugavpils. The difference is that last year in Poznan he smoked everyone and had a huge lead. This year, although he won the first round, Smetala and Lambert have pretty much gone with him on 17, so there's not too much room for error there.
Not at all, and Lambert actually was leading the Daugavpils final.
Yeah, great racing.
And, you know, Drabic was able to reel him in. And I had a word with Lambert. I mean, obviously, we touched a couple things about the experience in Cardiff. And generally, he'll take that to the bank for sure. He'll know the do's and don'ts of what happened to him there. But when it happened to be at Daugavpils, when he was in Lafayette riding in the first round of this one, you know, he could have moved offline a little bit and gave Drabic a bit more of a battle. But he stuck to his probably his plan, made the start, got himself in position, but rode quite an easy line on the inside, which was a lot of room for Maxime Drabic to be able to build up speed and pass him. So here we have another round to go, and if he's learned anything from all the things he's been exposed to so far this season, and believe me, at the level that he's been competing, I'm sure he would have learned some of those tricks.
So let's take a look at the lineup for Heat 1 with the riders out the tapes. Victor Lampart in red off the inside is the wildcard entry for this event tonight. Philip Hjelmland is off gate number 2, 4 points for the Swede in round 1. Fredrik Jakobsen, he is off gate 3 in white, scored 11 last time out, and could have been more but for a tapes excursion as well. And Robert Schmel, he only picked up 1 in the first round, involved in a bit of a tangle with Dan Bewley as well in that meeting. He goes in yellow off the outside. We have a Finnish referee with us tonight, Mr. Laukkanen, in charge of proceedings, and we get set for action in the opening race of round 2 here in Leszno. So Lampart inside, Hjelmland at gate 2, Jakobsen, of course, so well known now to fans of all of the UK, gate 3, and Schmel goes in yellow off the outside. He1 gets underway, Lampart off the inside. inside makes quite a good one. Jakobsen gets a nudge, and round the outside goes Philip Hjelmland, but it looks like Lampard has the advantage with Hjelmland trying to come through on the inside into bend 3. It's tight in there. Jakobsen in third with Schmel at the back, and it's still Victor Lampard out in front. Made a good start, bit of contact on first 1 and 2. Hjelmland and Jakobsen battling hard, but it looks like a good ride so far by Victor Lampard out in front.
Yeah, pretty steady going for Lampard to be able to get himself out in the front, and he did test a little bit the inside, a little bit the outside. Was under a bit of pressure in the first lap and a half or so from Hjelmland to be able to come up the inside, but now he's got it together and moving around, and he looks like it's treating him really well.
You can see the wide open spaces of Leszno. It's a circuit which can produce some great action when the big guns go head to head, and hopefully some of the under-21s will be showing us some of that this afternoon, this evening, but certainly Victor Lampard's made easy work, or very straightforward work of the opening race with Hjelmland running in second, but that's the first home winner, or home Polish winner of the evening, with Lampard winning Heat 1 from Hjelmland and Jakobsen in third place over Robert Schmel. So from the inside, Lampard just got to the first bend in front, and a bit of an early battle involving Hjelmland and Jakobsen, but all sorted itself out fairly quickly on the opening lap. So Lampard is declared the race winner, 3 points for him. Hjelmland in second, Jakobsen in third. So a good start there for the wild card. Victor Lampard winning off the inside gate.
First race over with. And this is the way it started. As you said, Lampard got himself into the first corner, pretty much stuck down low. A bit of a tussle there for the guys sorting out the minor places there, but it was a good move by Hjelmland to get himself underneath Lampard going into 3. He stuck it on that inside, and I think Lampard was just at this point identifying that there's a little bit more speed if he'd go up high and cut back down low. Here's another view of the start. It's always nice to get the first one out of the way, and there was a lot of onlookers from the pits. The riders were over the pit fence and checking out what the track was looking like, and I think everybody would be pretty pleased that it's pretty stable out there for their when they come to address their race.
Well, heat number 2 is next up as Lampard makes his way back into the pits. An interesting movement over the winter for him from Rzeszów to Lublin, which certainly caused a bit of debate, but scoring well and justifying his wildcard place there with that win in Heat 1. Now then, Heat number 2 is a big clash straight away. Nick Skoya goes in red off the inside, but in blue off gate 2 is Maxim Drabik, 20 points from the opening round, the defending series champion. Gate 3 in white, Bartosz Smektala, the man who took him all the way ready for a place, a title last year before Drabik won it. So Smektala in white, and Patrick Hansen goes in yellow, picked up 7 in Daugavpils and really rode better than that. But the 2 off gates 2 and 3, Drabik and Smektala, blue and white, these are 2 of the really big contenders.
Yeah, you know, when you see a lineup on paper that with these quality names at this level, you kind of wonder what's going to be your best move with the Dane Hansen on that outside coming back and trying to make a man. Smektala that's super fast, and we know Drabik, current champion and leading this series. You know, what are your options? And Hans Nielsen would probably have been able to say, give them some options, but it's all down to them now in this start.
Big clash straight away here in heat number 2, and Smektala in white tries to get across Drabik, but Drabik gets there in blue, and Smektala will try and go right him off the second bend, but Drabik has the advantage over Smektala, and Skoya's not left with too much room, and Hansen goes through into third place, but Maxim Drabik, the series leader and the champion, has the lead over the home track man, Bartosz Smektala, who tries the inside on bends 1 and 2, but Drabik goes back round him, and Drabik leads Smektala here.
Yeah, you know, you got to believe in yourself, and the current champion, Drabik, there's no doubt about it. This guy really wants his championship. It's his 3rd time in the under-21s, and he didn't have it all his own way with injuries earlier on, but he's out there really making it count again for a 2nd year in a row. If he can keep this form going, who's going to stop him?
Looking to make it back-to-back titles, and when you race against your closest contenders and competitors, then getting the victories are all the more important, and Maxim Drabik stretching clear of Bartosz Smektala into the 3rd and 4th bends for the final time. It will be a victory for the series leader and champion. Maxim Drabik wins heat 2, 2nd place Bartosz Smektala, Patrick Hansen 3rd, and Nick Skoya at the back. And Drabik sets his stall out straight away in heat number 1. Remember last year went through the card at Poznan in the opening round, and then had a tough night in Gustra in the wet in round 2 when he came to grief in the end. But round 2 this year starts off well for him. Drabik Drabik, the winner of Heat 2. Second place, Smektala, and third place was Patrick Hansen.
You know, both those riders, first and second, Drabik and Smektala, both have been in this series for the last, this will be their third season in this. And Drabik, in his first season in the under-21s, got injured and really didn't compete much. He had a little bit of an opportunity, but last year we know what he did. He went out there and won the championship, and there's the onlookers in the pits just practicing their starts. That means so much to these guys to be able to have a good start if you can, not only out of the gate, but as well as, you know, your first race. You don't want to lose too much ground on anybody, and Maxim Drabik really took control of that second heat to be able to get one over Smektala, to be able to win that one. That's definitely going to help his confidence throughout the event, I'm sure.
So 3 points straight away for Maxim Drabik, and on his way back to the pits with job done up against Smektala in his opening ride. And we're going to see Robert Lambert in Heat 3, and we're also going to see Dan Bewley. So both of the British riders involved here. Lambert going off the outside gate in his first ride. There's Daniel Spiller, the late entry into the meeting, one of the standby riders, and looking to make an impression in the series. Spiller, who finished 6th in the qualifier in Rawitz. He scored 9 points, didn't win a race, but finished only 3 points off the qualifying places, so it was clearly competitive out there, and he'll be going in red. Andres Leaga, who's also got experience of this competition as well, finished down the order last year, 10th overall, but had his moments, certainly. And in fact, his best meeting was in the wet one in Gustro. So Leaga goes off gate 2. Bewley, debutant in the series this year, in white off gate 3. And Lambert, who scored 17 in round 1 in yellow off the outside.
A very interesting lineup. Anything can really unveil from this one. I know what Lambert will be thinking about, but Bewley will equally be thinking about having a clean start.
4 riders into the line then for race number 3. Take flying away they go. And Bewley better jump on. Bewley's outgated. And Lambert, Leaga has got there. Lambert's turned back in from the yellow helmet colour, trying to get through from 4th to 2nd. He's battling with Bewley into the bend, and it's tight between the two British boys behind Leaga. Out front, Lambert pegging the inside line, but it's Leaga who has the advantage. Lambert squeezing Bewley into lap 2 with a spin up out the back, and it looks good here for Leaga, but Lambert will chase him hard here.
Yeah, Leaga, what an awesome start he made and demanded that. So whatever Hans might have said, the team manager might have said to him, it's working right now. Comes from gate 2, got himself out front. The GB boys now got to work very hard.
Lambert certainly having a go, and Bewley very much on the pace as well in 3rd place, so still good battling to come with over a lap to go in this race. Leaga leads, swings off the line off bend 4. Could be a chance here for Lambert down the inside, but again, good line off the bend there by Andreas Leaga, the former Scunthorpe man. He still race leads. Lambert now going for a wider line round turns 1 and 2. Can't quite get it done yet, but might go for the run round the outside final bend. Now a cut back. Leaga wide off bend 4. Lambert's the finishing line, but Leaga hangs on and wins it over Lambert with Bewley in 3rd place. Bewley very much involved. Made quite a good start there, Dan Bewley. A better one than Robert Lambert, in fact. And Lambert had to turn back quickly on the 1st and 2nd bend to get himself back in play. But Leaga in blue was the man who got there at the start, and he wins the race. Leaga over Lambert with Bewley in 3rd place.
Yeah, never overlook your competitors, and I'm sure that Lambert and Bewley both weren't, but it was good to see Leaga get out front. He was coming from gate number 2, made a really good start. I'm really happy with the way the track's treating the guys too. It's really smooth. You're able to go right up there to the high lines right there. You can see that it was Bewley that was forced to go up to the high line to get his wheels in line. Looked like he was possibly going to come off at the second, but Lambert, coming from that outside gate, tried to get himself in front. He couldn't do it. His countryman Bewley was right up the inside of him. He didn't have to cut back and almost, you know, threaded his way through. Didn't have enough speed coming off of the turns 2 to be able to put any pressure on Leaga from the Dane that was leading from the start. But still a good effort from all 4 of these guys.
Yep, Bewley in the hunt there very much, with 3rd place in the end, losing out to Lambert, but more to come, I'm sure, from Dan Bewley later in the meeting. He's next out in Heat 5, and Lambert has a long wait. He'll be next out in Heat 8. Heat 4 is next up, as we look at Leaga, the race winner, in the pits, and meanwhile on track, Dominic Cabrera has received a big welcome from the home crowd here in Leszno. They've not had too much speedway here in recent weeks, obviously with the lack of league racing during July. So good for them to come and see a meeting. and Davis Kumis, the Latvian, rides in red off the inside. Daniel Kaczmarek rides in blue off gate 2. As I mentioned, a few people talking about him, expecting him to impress. We'll see. Dominic Cabrera in white off 3, and Joel Kling, he is in yellow off the outside.
So what do you think about Daniel?
Well, I'm just going off what we were told beforehand, that everyone was not exactly raving about him, but saying that he's got a point to prove, and you know, he's well known to the Leszno public, and he would like to put one over on the more regular Leszno riders.
Well, he's got a little bit of confidence because we just seen a race win from gate number 2, Joel King on the outside, the Swede. We're looking to see if he can get in there.
So he's 4 with the 4 riders at the start line. Kumis, Kaczmarek, Cabrera and Kling, and away they go. That's a great start by Cabrera in white to get to the event just in front of Kaczmarek. Around the outside goes Kling. He's got plenty of speed there. And lifting is Cabrera, and right round the outside goes Kling. That's a sensational ride there by Kling, and he will take it right round the outside at the end of lap 1, and he will hit the front. That's a superb effort there by Joel Kling. He race leads. Cabrera challenging hard in 2nd, Kaczmarek in 3rd, but what a good ride that was.
Yeah, you can see how much it means to him. The Swede was really on it. Come to that outside gate. Don't fear nobody at that stage. He's riding this track in the right place, letting the bike run right up the high line. The making of this circuit will really help the riders. Gives them the confidence. They can go right up there and turn the bike nice and easy, keep the speed up. That's exactly what Joel Kling's doing.
Well, he comes into the meeting feeling really good, up scoring 15 last week in Riga in the team event, and he's certainly showing Cabrera the way home here in heat number 4. Cabrera lifted slightly on the back straight, which did make a problem for him, but from then on, really, Joel Kling has simply raced away, and that's a really impressive ride to win heat 4. Kling over Cabrera with Kaczmarek in 3rd, and Kumis out the back, and really a strong move around the outside in the opening stages, because Cabrera made a good start to get the better of Kaczmarek into the first bend, but Joel Kling taking it around the outside, and with plenty of space, plenty of room to work with, he used that room, and it's a tremendous win for him. So Kling with heat 4 over Cabrera, and Kaczmarek in 3rd place.
Yeah, very impressed. You know, when you're focusing on what your options are when you're in your first race and you got your lineup and you got to come from that outside gate, and you know that this track could lend itself to helping you get in there. Kaczmarek makes the start. Looks like he had it all wrapped up, come from gate number 3 in the white. That little bit of lift cost him dearly. No doubt about it. Kling was in the right place at the right time because he wasn't upset at all. That little bit of drive. Both of them actually got a little bit of drive there. It was just unfortunate for the...
You think if Cabrera hadn't lifted, do you think he would have still
well, sorry, yeah, Cabrera was the one that was that lifted there. Yeah, if you know what, as the race went on, the speed that Kling had, he might not have been able to hold him back even if he got in front of him. But as you see right there in the yellow, Kling was able to just keep the throttle on going all the way to 3, and he just pulled away. He was in the right place. He's using the big lines of this Leszno track. So he's had his setup quite right, I would say. So whether Cabrera was able to stay in front of him and it wasn't affected by that lift, yet it would have been a good race. So we'll never know that answer, but I would like to say that Kling's bike's a lot faster.
Yeah, good ride, and Joel Kling wins heat 4 as a bit of breeze goes round Leszno. There's not been too much of that during the day, but the track grading is now taking place, and we have our opening 4 winners of the meeting. Round 2 of the World Under-21 Championship, and Lampart, Drabik, Leaga and Kling, the opening 4 winners here this evening. A couple of tractors making their way round. So what do you see from Tractor Mr. Sammy? round one, I should say, winner of heat 2 here. We're hoping to get some reaction from the pits very shortly.
You had a collarbone injury.
Yeah.
Is it okay now? Do you feel okay, or still struggle with some problems?
I feel now it's a little hard to hold the bike sometimes. They like made the track a little bit grippy, so it's not the best, but it's okay. I can ride. I just gotta get used to it and get through it.
But could you tell us what the doctor said?
They said I should wait 6 weeks, but this is World Championship and I'm feeling all right, so you just gotta try it. So yeah.
Patryk powiedział, że no troszeczkę czuje ten obojczyk, kiedy musi trzymać motocykl, zwłaszcza kiedy tor jest troszeczkę taki przyczepny. Zapytałam go, bo on mi przed wejściem na antenę powiedział, że lekarze powiedzieli mu, że no, przerwa powinna trwać 6 tygodni. On wraca po 3 tygodniach, no bo są to Mistrzostwa Świata i on nie chce stracić żadnej rundy, dlatego zaciska zęby i jedzie dalej. Zapytam teraz Patryka o jego dyspozycję w tym sezonie, bo 2 lata temu otarł się o podium Mistrzostw Świata. W zeszłym roku skończył na 13 pozycji. Co więc zmienił, żeby poprawić swój wynik z zeszłego roku, a może nawet otrzeć się o tą 4. lokatę, którą miał 2 lata temu? Patrick, it's your 3rd season in World Championship. The first one was actually pretty good because you were close to the podium. Last year wasn't good enough because you finished 3rd. Do you know what to do this year to not repeat the score from last year, but be as good as 2 years ago?
Yeah, I don't know. I probably should try and make some better starts. I'm struggling pretty bad with that, so yeah, we'll take it as it comes. I'm trying some different things today, and first one wasn't that good, but
you have really strong opponents, yeah? Like Maxim Drabik and Bartosz Smektala.
yeah, it's really strong this year. Also, last year was really strong. 2016 was strong, but it was, you know, all right.
Patryk powiedział, że no może musi troszeczkę popracować nad swoimi startami. Wprowadził pewne zmiany w poprzednim wyścigu, w swoim pierwszym wyścigu. Dzisiaj był 3, no ale miał przy sobie obok Maxa Drabika i Bartka Smektałę, no zdecydowanie bardzo silnych zawodników. Mówi, że w zeszłym roku no, obsada była bardzo silna, 2 lata temu też była silna, ale nie tak bardzo, no więc zobaczymy. Zrobił wszystko, robi wszystko, wciąż poprawia te starty, żeby było coraz lepiej. I know that Speedway is not the only thing which you do in your life because you attend the mechanic school. I wonder, it's your some kind of hobby or you do it to have more knowledge, gain some experience with Speedway, all this stuff?
I do it because my parents tell me I have to. I need to have an education, you know. If I fail in Speedway, I have some job, yeah, but, you know, it takes some time and I would like to just ride Speedway, honestly.
Zapytałam Patryka o jego edukację, bo on oprócz tego, że jeździ na żużlu, to uczy się w szkole na zawód mechanika. Zapytałam go, czy to jest jego hobby, czy może robi to po to, żeby mieć większe doświadczenie, jeśli chodzi o żużel i cały ten sprzęt. Powiedział, no nie, no robię to, bo rodzice kazali mi pójść do szkoły. Ja jestem żużlowcem, ale muszę mieć też jakiś inny zawód. Więc no, nie jest to przyjemność, jest to mus. Ale teraz zapytam o przyjemniejszą rzecz, której uczy się Patryk, mianowicie język polski. Is it true that you learn Polish in your free time?
Yeah, I'm trying, but it's pretty hard.
Can you tell us something po polsku?
Nie wiem, to jest tylko bardzo trudne. Nie wiem.
But why you decided to learn Polish? Do you like Poland or?
Yeah, I enjoy to be here. Just, you know, it's an important language in Speedway, so I think it could be quite useful and yeah, I find it interesting, but a long way to go, unfortunately.
We are keeping our fingers crossed. Thank you so much.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Na koniec, właśnie tak jak powiedziałam wcześniej, zapytałam Patryka o ten język polski, bo on w swoim wolnym czasie uczy się naszego języka. Powiedział, że jest to bardzo ważny język w żużlu, jest bardzo trudny oczywiście, ale krok po kroku jemu się podoba, więc na pewno będzie kontynuował swoją naukę.
Well, I've learned the old 3 or 4 words of Polish over the last 2 or 3 years, Sam, but I'm sure he's doing a better job than I am.
It's very interesting that he's trying to learn, and he's right about the Speedway nation. I mean, Poland's got a lot to offer as a young lad racing Speedway, and if you can understand the language, you're going to hear everything that's going on. So it's good that he's doing it.
Interesting. He was saying that the track was actually grippier than he would like it. Now maybe that's because he's coming back off a collarbone injury and would like it to be absolutely billiard smooth. But how do you read that?
Well, I was surprised he said that, but then taking on board the fact that he's riding still a little bit early from his injury, maybe he is not as strong as he needs to be, but this kind of a track, if you could really let the bike do a lot of the work for you and a little bit more dirt. I said to you on the way here, you know, you're probably going to see a big gap between some of these guys because you'll get the guys that have more experience internationally, or I should say more experience here in Poland. And if the track lends to their ability with the dirt, a guy gets out in front, he's just gonna get away from everybody. It's going to be almost near impossible to catch him.
But Hansen's not unusual in having a collarbone injury and coming back within 3 weeks. That's Speedway, isn't it? I mean, he's being told 6 by doctors, but Speedway riders come back, especially with a World Championship.
All right, let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he's fit, and I am surprised that he said the track's a bit grippy, because it is one of those tracks where this place here, you'd want a lot more dirt on it than it is. It seems like a fairly, what I would say, a fairly tame Leszno for sure. A little bit more dirt would really be the recipe for domination, I would say.
Okay, well, let's take a look at the lineup for Heat 5, which will feature Joel Kling in red, winner first time out. Also Victor Lampart in blue, winner first time out. Nick Scoria goes in white, and Dan Bewley is in yellow. So tough opening draw for Dan, going off gate 3 first time out and gate 4 second time out, and this time up against 2 of the early race winners.
Yeah, absolutely, and they just graded the racetrack, put a little bit of moisture on it, which it needs to keep the surface good for the future races. He'll have to battle with the fact that knowing that you got to make a good start, but you also got to realize you could be going over some of the slippery stuff from the water. So it's definitely going to throw a lot of obstacles at him straight away.
Kling inside, Lampart gate 2, Scoria gate 3, and Bewley off the outside. Heat 5 gets underway again. Bewley has got a good one. He's got it in play. Elbows between Kling and Lampart first. Ben Bewley is sent out wide. Scoria comes in white, and Bewley will have to go round him into the third bend. It's Kling in front of Lampart, and Bewley is going wide. Oh, there's going to be contact there. Yeah. As Scoria collects Lampart. Lampart are locked up, which caused the problem, and the red lights will have to come on with 2 riders down, and you can see that coming when Lampart locked up, and I would think he'd be the man to go, won't he?
Yeah, well, you know, that's exactly what I mean about them putting a little bit of dressing of water on it. You got to have that knowledge or that experience, and you can see right here that Lampart went in the corner and he turned the bike, and it turned a little bit too much. And it was just unfortunate right there. There's no way for Scoria to be able to get away from that one. He was in the right place, Scoria was, with the white helmet color on the inside there. And it was just more about Lampart's mistake. And again, Bewley on the outside, he was clear of it all. But Bewley was affected straight away out of the start, not getting in there. And you just got to understand that about track changing conditions. And unfortunately right there, Lampart went down on his own, I would say, and just got in the way of Scoria, and the referee's going to have an easy decision.
Lampart is excluded. The blue light is on. Lampart,
unfortunately, a race win and then that incident. Yeah. You know, you just got to be able to understand when you're coming in from a fresh grade, those kind of changing conditions are going to affect you. You got to be wise.
Yeah, learning curve.
Absolutely.
For these riders. You said an easy decision for the referee. Of course, last night we saw all sorts of drama in Cardiff with some things that people said were easy decisions and went the other way. But this time you can see Lampart, he's lost his shape completely, and really Scoria can't do anything more, can he? He's already where he is.
Yeah, he's committed. Scoria can see it coming. He's trying to avoid it, but he can't turn any harder. He could have been a victim of the same thing, that's Scoria. If he would have turned harder at this point right here, he could have just spun the bike around. You know, he's riding on the same kind of surface. Just put a little bit of glaze of water over the top of it, and it does affect the riders. And when you're trying to back up a race win, Victor Lampart was really, you know, going for that win if he possibly could too. Joel Kling got himself out in front from the inside gate, and you can't blame the kid for having a big charge going into turn 3. It's just unfortunately he's a victim of the conditions, and that'll be part of the learning curve for him.
Certainly will, and the 3 have gone back into the pits. We're awaiting the rerun, which will feature 3 riders only, and Kling and Scoria, and Bewley gets another go at it.
You know, when you're looking at the program and you're weighing up the weather conditions and all the elements that could affect your position on the racetrack, whether it's a gate position, whether it's after a grade, before a grade, it's real important for a rider to understand those changing conditions, because they do grade the track, and they do have to put water on it.
They did put quite a bit down.
Yeah, I would say they put quite a bit, but I wouldn't say too much, if you know what I mean. It's just something that you got to give a lap, or sometimes a lap and a half, to be able to, yeah, the doctor's just having a look at him to make sure he's okay. That's kind of the routine here. And anytime there's a rider that goes on the ground or is in a collision of a bike, you know, the doctor's responsibility
Yeah, it looks like he's okay. I think he's
for sure.
happy. There was no concussion there. It's just a checkup. So
yeah.
So just holding up for a second whilst we await the 2 minute. Oh, there you go. 2 minutes are on now, and we'll have a restart with 3 riders.
You know, when you got somebody like Hans Nielsen in your camp, and the same with Neil on the GB, Neil Vacher on the GB team. Neil's never been a rider, but he's been a mechanic for a lot of years, where Hans has been a rider. Hans will understand a rider's draw of positioning of the races during the whole 20 races, to be able to anticipate some of the condition changes. And if he can bring that to the rider's attention, that could be the difference of not making a mistake or making a mistake, as we've just seen.
Would you say with the youngsters especially, is it even more important to have someone in the corner almost talking through a meeting? Things can run away quite quickly at times in these kind of events.
Well, if our audience that's watching this had the opportunity to see what happened in Sweden at Hustevik, where Ty Woofenden was a victim of, he was in every race after the grooming of the racetrack, the way his draw was, but when he came up to the final, in the semifinal to the final, they didn't groom the racetrack. So even the experienced riders can overlook the simplicity of the fact that the conditions are different, and you got to have your eye on it. Sometimes pits are located far away from the viewing of the riders to be able to see the racetrack. And it could be a long walk, and you don't get the opportunity. You get monitors in the Grand Prix. All those things are factors. And if you got a guy that's eyeing the racetrack, you have to bring you that information before you go out there. Then it makes you aware of it, whether it's somebody that's got the experience or the team manager in these views.
We start then on 8-5, 3 at the line, away they go. Joel Kling off the inside, Bewley off the outside. They managed to squeeze out Scoyer, and Bewley will get the run round the outside here of Kling. We saw Kling earlier in the meeting doing just that, and Bewley hits the front. Bewley over Kling with Scoyer in third. He made a good start, a tidy start from the outside. He knew where he wanted to put the bike. He did just that, and look at Dan Bewley go now, racing it away from Joel Kling on the second lap. Scoyer trying to work his way through on the inside, but Bewley looks good here.
I rest my case. There you go. You got a second bite at the heat number 5, and Bewley made an opportunity work for himself. He was on that outside gate. The water that was in the racetrack from the groom, he settled down just that little bit in the outside line, came to the rider from gate 4.
Really pumping that throttle as he goes over the start-finish line. Dan Bewley with just over a lap to go, and great to see him in the series, and looks like it's going to be a race win here as well for Dan in heat 5. He's well clear of Joel Kling with Scoyer in third, and he looked good in practice, they were saying earlier on, and now putting it all to good play here in heat 5 as Dan Bewley wins it. The Great Britain youngster takes heat 5, second place Joel Kling, and in third place Nick Scoyer. Really impressive ride there by Bewley, who got a ride last night in heat 2 in the British Grand Prix, ironically after Robert Lambert dropped a chain on the start line. Didn't score in that one, but certainly got 3 big points there in heat number 5 in the under-21 series. Bewley over Kling with Scoyer in third place.
Very impressive, very impressive. This kid's got a heck of a lot of talent. And when I was talking to Neil Vach, the team manager, he was saying, you know, Dan doesn't know a lot of the riders. He fears nobody, just knows what he's capable of doing. And his second attempt of this heat number 5, only 3 riders in it, including himself, gave him the opportunity to have a little bit more track choice. But coming from gate 4, he made a good enough start to be able to have a clean identification of the outside line, and was able to make the use of that to the point to where he just pulled away. The bike's fast. He's getting a good ride. Nobody got in his way this time. On the first attempt, he looked left to come off 4, and he was bunched up on a bunch of riders, had to give it up. Wasn't in a very good position, actually, almost dead. He was last when Lampard went down, but this time he made a perfect result out of that gate 4 and understanding the track changing conditions.
I think he's riding one of either Craig Cook's current or old machines. You can see the Craig Cook logo on the back of the seat. Now, of course, they're both linked with Rybnik in Poland, and Dan's been doing a lot of the meetings recently, but that's clearly a bike that has been used by Craig Cook at some stage in the past, and it was certainly going well there. Heat 6 will feature Kaczmarek in red off the inside. Spiller goes in blue off gate 2. Hjelmland in white off gate 3, and Smektala has the outside gate in yellow and black here.
Again, I would say the outside gate's a very very promising place to be. It just puts you into the dirt around the first corner, and that little bit of extra drive with your back wheel up against that cushion of dirt would drive you around the outside. So all the other riders, again, if they would understand that, the idea is to get to that first corner, upset the guy on the outside a little bit, then turn back and take your position. These are things that these riders will be learning as they go through their career. But right now, this is a very important 6 because we got Smektala on that outside that could easily win this race.
Yeah, Smektala focused on the start line. Here we go. Heat 6 in the way. It's a good start by Kaczmarek from the inside. Smektala will have to make the run round the outside here. In yellow, Kaczmarek has the lead. He'll lead at the back straight. Smektala trying to squeeze around the outside. Hits the front into bend 3. Good ride by Smektala to lead with Kaczmarek in second. Hjälmland is in third. And Hjälmland now is trying to gain ground on Kaczmarek in the race for second place. But Smektala didn't have things his own way there on the outside. Had to work for it, but does hit the front.
Yeah, Kaczmarek really did everything he possibly could do. He made a really good start from that inside. He read the track okay, moved up as much as he possibly could to. Smektala had his own mission. He just drove down that back straight and got himself out front, and he's checked out now. He's gone.
Certainly has checked out. 5 top for second with Kaczmarek still holding Hjälmland at base. Spiller is adrift at the back with just over a lap to go. Smektala being cheered home by the crowd every time he goes past the start-finish line in front of us. They are enjoying this one, and it looks like Kaczmarek has got the advantage over Hjälmland in the battle for second place. But Smektala has made this one his own after the first lap battle. He wins Heat 6 to the cheers of the home crowd. Kaczmarek in second, Hjälmland in third, with Spiller out the back. And Bartosz Smektala gets his first win of the meeting as Chelsea Dagger plays out over the tannoy to claim his victory. I hear that in the UK some places, I'm not sure where. Smektala wins Heat 6, Kaczmarek in second place, Hjälmland in third.
Impressive. Bartosz Smektala comes from that outside position. The track was basically set up perfect for him. He's a strong contender in this under 21 World Championship. The second round here at Leszno, was able to get all that start quite cleanly. He was had a bit of a challenge coming off that turns 2 with Kaczmarek right up the inside of him, and he was claiming that inside spot, but he stayed down low, and just that outside line is just working so nice at this track. I mean, that's the beauty of Leszno. You can actually let the bike drift, and you get some good drive on the outside, and it was a perfect combination. Heat 2 of the grading for Smektala, perfect combination.
Yep, Smektala gets his first win and joins Kling on 5 points from 2 rides. We've got 2 of the race winners from the first set of races coming up in Heat 7, which is Leaga and Drabik. So that could be an interesting one coming up next. Leaga will be in red and Drabik will be in white. But Smektala has got a race victory. Pleased to see it from his point of view. And completing the Heat 7 lineup, Davis Kumis in blue, there he is, and Fredrik Jakobsen in yellow off the outside. But Leaga looked good in his first ride. He's got the inside here. Drabik off gate 3. So we saw him make a good start too in his opening ride. Let's see if the champion can keep his winning run going here.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be determined to make gate 3 work for himself. But, you know, you got 3 other riders in this race that are all focused on the same thing, getting out in front. Leaga coming from that inside gate will think that the inside might be an advantage. But as the racing lines are definitely higher on the racetrack, you know, you got to know that's where you got to be. But you have to, you'll give up something moving out that high.
Leaga inside, Kumis gate 2, Drabik gate 3, Jakobsen off the outside, and it's a good start by Drabik off gate 3. He's got there in front of Leaga. Jakobsen trying to make the run in yellow round the outside, gets squeezed out there though by Leaga. Leaga ran wider off bend 2 than others have done who've been in that situation. That forced Jakobsen to switch back, and Jakobsen will try and turn back in third place. But Drabik made it off the gate 3 in the white helmet cover, and Drabik moves clear of Leaga with Jakobsen third.
Yeah, Drabik's bike's really working for him. It's just grabbing. Every time he's to the corner, the bike kind of jerks and pulls him forward. Each time he does that, it does give him a little bit more traction, but he's not got it all his own way. If he makes any mistakes, I can tell you right now that Andreas Leaga's right behind him. He's not far there, so he's on the pace as well. Yeah,
Leaga keeping about 3 or 4 bike lengths behind. He's certainly there if Drabik makes a mistake. You wouldn't expect a mistake from Drabik. He looks to be pretty much a one-man machine, but Leaga is exploring different lines, trying to get around the outside here. Drabik very defensive actually off bend 2, and Leaga thinking about it, and now turns back off bend 3. Right by Leaga here, but Drabik will just about make it back round to win it. Picks up drive and wins. Drabik over Leaga. Third place was Jakobsen, and Kermit at the back. I wonder if for a lap or so that may have become too easy for Maxim Drabik, because he held it really tight the start of lap 4, and suddenly that offered Leaga a bit of a go around the outside, turned back on Ben 3 and 4, and Drabik realised what the situation was and covered it, but a good effort there by Leaga in second. Drabik, Leaga, Jakobsen, the result of heat 7.
Yeah, Drabik was smart enough to have a sneak look over his shoulder, but out of the start, the action started in this heat number 7. Quite easy for Drabik coming from gate number 3. He's oozing with confidence at the moment, defending his championship. He gets out in front, gets the bike in wheels in line down the back straightaway, but he's got a hot pursuit. Leaga right behind him in the red. He came from that inside gate. He knew that the top line was where you wanted to be, high on the racetrack. As he gets himself down the back straightaway, that is Leaga getting there. He had started building up some speed. And then Drabik then had to have a sneak look. You probably can hear the pressure, the inside and the outside. And Leaga was doing everything he possibly could to use the racetrack to sneak somewhere. He had an attempt on the outside here. And I think at this point, this is when Drabik knew somebody's coming, and he's going to have to close the door or at least move out a little bit wider, and he did. And the bike pulled him across the start-finish line for a win in heat 7.
Drabik unbeaten and has only dropped 1 point in the series so far from his 9 rides. 26 out of 27 is his current total score. Impressive stuff. Heat 8 next up with Robert Schimmel in red, Patrick Hansen in blue. There's Robert Lambert in white, and Dominic Kibera goes in yellow and black, or yellow I should say. So the home crowd cheering on Kibera here, but Lambert in white will certainly want to have a say in it. Patrick Hansen, we heard from him earlier, he's in blue. Could be an interesting Heat 8.
Oh, I think so. And I would say that Lambert's probably not in the best position either. He's going to have to make a tremendous gate. I would say Kibera's riding with a bit of confidence and maybe in the right place at the right time on the racetrack, or the conditions could be a little bit too far out. Patrick Hansen, we've already heard his interview earlier where he said that the track conditions are feeling a little bit grippy for him coming from that second gate. So the combination here is a little bit unknown right now, I would say to myself anyway.
Heat 8, Schimmel, Hansen, Lambert and Kibera is the lineup. Riders in line. Green lights on for the referee, and away they go. Lambert played a good one there in white. Lambert now moved mid-track on turns 1 and 2, with Kibera looking to turn back off the second bend. Kibera tries to send one down the inside. Lambert, he's done so. They're tight into the third and fourth bend. He's moved inside, and Lambert will try and turn back once more off bend 4, and Lambert gets back in front. Great stuff from Lambert to lead. Kibera battling hard in second, trying to go back round him on bend 2. Great battling. Clever ride there by Lambert to take him wide, and Lambert leads on the third back straight.
Kibera then made a mistake right then. He should have let Lambert go and turn back a little bit sooner. So he had to roll the throttle off just that little bit. Lambert's now just got the traction on that outside line. He's picking the right place to be. 2
races in one here. There's also a big strap for third place with Patrick Hansen moving through past Robert Schimmel. They've almost tangled 2 or 3 times in this race, but Lambert's has to work really hard to see off the challenge of Dominic Kibera. It looks like he'll do so as he race leads on the back straight for the final time, and Lambert's set for his first win of the meeting, trying to keep ground, keep pace with the likes of Spectator and Drabik, and Lambert wins Heat 8 from Kibera with Hansen third over Schimmel. Good action there with Lambert having to repass Kibera off the 4th bend on the opening lap. Really strong stuff there from those two up at the front of Heat 8, and Lambert, second place, first time out, gets a win from his second outing to move on to 5 for the evening. Lambert wins Heat 8, Kibera in second, Hansen third, and good action there in Heat 8.
Yeah, beautiful racing that was in this heat number 8. They're going to grade the track again one more time, but in this race, Robert Lambert comes from that gate number 3, goes straight into the corner in front, but goes right up to the dirt, left the door wide open on the inside, with Dominic Kibera to be able to come up the inside, and he took that away from Lambert, and Lambert now had to cut back on the inside. They threw track positions around for the first lap and a half, and then it was just unfortunate for Kibera. He actually got himself in a position where Lambert came underneath him to make the final pass, and he didn't let Lambert go, and he had to back that throttle off a little bit. I'm sure it's going to come into the picture in a minute what he did, and as soon as he did that, this is the battle for 3rd and 4th, and they had their own little race going on. And it was
here's Lambert running.
And as soon as he backed off that throttle, that was enough for Lambert to be able to pull away, and that's all he needed was just a little bit of more track, and he got it. So a good ride for the GB rider to get himself out front after a good tussle. with the pole there from Canberra.
Yep, Lambert winning it to move on to 5 points. There are 4 riders on 5 points so far this evening. There he is in the pits, and had a couple of knocks last night. Of course, all sorts went on in Cardiff, but everything I think is just about okay. Such a busy rider, Robert Lambert. He's been racing almost every night this week, and will be doing so again next week as well. We will be letting you hear the English interviews this evening. But yeah, Lambert has got racing in the UK on Monday and Wednesday, Sweden again on Tuesday. So it never stops at this stage, and the last thing you want is crashes to slow you down.
Yeah, that's why you don't need no injuries. It will just kind of put you on your back foot.
Yeah, and certainly last night. If it could go wrong, it was a really harsh introduction to Grand Prix life, because when he was actually on the track, he was on the pace. But the trouble is, he had a chain break at the start line. He had a contentious decision against him before the first bend. He had to lay his bike down when Craig Cook's bike went skywards. He then had the incident with Jason Doyle, which I must confess I haven't seen a replay of. The important thing is that Jason Doyle appears to be okay, largely speaking. But the general consensus is that Lambert was very harshly treated to be excluded there. So it's a night he's got to just put it in the background and move on from it pretty quickly.
You know, how do you go up to a rider that's had a disastrous Grand Prix in his home country and have a chat with him? But I took the punt and I did it. And, you know, he's mature enough to know that you're going to have your ups and downs in this sport. And when you have your downs, you got to learn from them. And you know, we discussed a couple of things, and I think he's on top of his game. So just let that be an experience, and he'll grow with that one for sure.
The word on Jason Doyle was he was released from hospital. He was concussed on the night, and they're saying a couple of small fractures. We don't know exactly where at the moment, but that was one of those moments where everyone in Cardiff sort of held their breath. You don't like to see any rider have that. He's a world champion. Okay, he's not having a fantastic defence, but he's still the world champion, and to see a rider leave Cardiff in an ambulance is not what anyone wants. You
know, it's how the tides change. You know, you start dominating the Grand Prix, and you're trying to get your back into it, defending it. For whatever reasons, you get yourself in a position, as Jason Doyle has at the moment, it's not going his way. And, you know, unfortunately, that's the way racing is. But hopefully he'll be okay from whatever's happened. There's no long-serving injuries, and he get back on it and come back and still got the latter part of the Grand Prix to be able to defend it.
I've got to ask you, as it's a topical question, topical weekend, what did you make of it as a former rider, especially with the controversial, shall we say, refereeing? A lot of the fans weren't happy with what was going on. I know they're having to be very strict on the starts, particularly in Grand Prix and Speedway Nations. That's tough for riders, and sometimes fans don't fully understand it. But from a rider's point of view, what did you make of how things shook out last night?
You know, anytime we're talking about referee making decisions, anytime, then to me the referee hasn't done his job right. You know, if we're talking about him and not the racing, it's hard to take that on board. So difficult one. I would like to say that, you know, I think the event was good. The right guys got to the top.
Yep.
I think the way the event went, the right guys were in the final. The track and some of the technique of the Ty Wolfenden did impress the heck out of me a couple times. The way he was riding it, and Bartosz Magic I was very impressed with him early on. Unfortunately, Ty missed one of his races for whatever mechanical reasons.
Yeah, that was a bit of a talking point.
Yeah, and you know, we'll never know exactly what happened, but you know, from my eyes, it looked like the fuel wasn't turned on because it was a restart. Because the bike then, you know, took off and you started finishing.
Well, one thing that Ty is very good at, and I think a lot of the top riders are the same, if there's a mechanical issue, there will be recriminations in the pits, the debrief will happen, but in public, there won't be any blame game taking place. They're a team. They will win or lose a team.
You know, if I'm in Ty's position where he's in the Grand Prix right now, and I think it's pretty easy to read it, you know, you don't have to win it all, do you? All you have to do is be in it.
Making every final.
And because his biggest, closest rival, as Freddie Ling, was having such a bad night, whether you win, lose, or draw, you got to take it on the chin sometimes. You have one mechanical malfunction, whatever it might be, or whether it was a human function problem. That's one. You got to take it on the chin and say, right, you know, that's your team. If there was a problem because somebody did turn the fuel on, whether it was Ty's responsibility or the mechanic's responsibility, you're still a team. You just take it and go right.
Dzisiaj mogło, że ze mną największy nieobecny finałów Mistrzostw Świata Juniorów, Jamon Lidzi. Jamon, it's a big shame that you are not here racing today. But what to do? Maybe next year? Is it hard to watch the races from the pits for you?
Yeah, it is a little bit. Watching practice today, I was wishing that I was out there practicing and obviously racing now, but unfortunately I didn't qualify at Ravitch, but hopefully next year I can qualify and do the series. I've still got 2 more years left in under 21, so hopefully I can be there in the next 2 years.
Wciąż mam 2 lata, żeby awansować do finałów Mistrzostw Świata Juniorów, mówi Jamon Lidzi. Oczywiście ciężko było mi tutaj dzisiaj oglądać trening, bo to ja chciałbym jeździć na tym torze, a nie oglądać moich kolegów. No ale co zrobić? No dzisiaj pozostaje mi oglądać zawody. Przede mną wciąż 2 lata, więc wszystko przede mną. So today you are more team Bewley, team Lambert, maybe team Smektala or Kubera?
No team, just floating around the pits, and I'm friends with all them guys, and obviously teammates with Smektala and Kubera, so I wish them the best for today, and Bewley and Lambert as well, but could be anyone today, so yeah, there's a whole group of them that are fast, so it could be anyone.
In the end, I would like to ask you about your living in Poland, because you didn't took the same way like the other Aussies. You didn't move to England, but you moved straight to Poland. How do you feel here? Is it good for you?
Yeah, well, I'm enjoying it here so far. It's just unfortunate I don't get enough meetings here, but I'm enjoying it, and life's good here and stuff like that. And I'm not in England this year because visa issues, didn't get a visa, but hopefully I can get one when I go home this year and be in England next year as well as here. So, yeah.
Do you learn Polish?
Yeah, little, not so much.
Okay, thank you.
Dziękuję.
Zapytałam Jamona o to, komu on tutaj dzisiaj kibicuje. Mówi, że no, trzyma kciuki za Bartka Smektałę i za Dominika Kuberę, no bo w końcu to są kumple z drużyny, ale również za Dana Bewleya i Roberta Lamberta. Oni się wszyscy znają, wszyscy trzymają się ze sobą, wszyscy się lubią. Zapytałam go także o jego mieszkanie w Polsce, bo on wybrał inną drogę niż inni Australijczycy. Nie przeprowadził się do Anglii, tylko przeprowadził się od razu do Polski. Mówi, że tak, jest fajnie. No niestety nie ma okazji do zbyt częstych startów w Polsce, ale jemu się tutaj podoba, uczy się troszeczkę polskiego. Ma nadzieję, że w przyszłym roku uda się wystartować w Anglii. W tym roku przeszkodą były problemy z wizą, ale ma nadzieję, że w przyszłym roku to wszystko poprawi i będzie mógł startować również w Anglii.
For Heat 9, Jamon Lidzi certainly one to look out for in the future, was the Australian reserve at the Speedway Nations and practiced in both events that Australia were involved in and looked quick. Didn't meet the UK visa requirements due to state championship requirements, championships over the winter, but has certainly got a future at this level in 21s and senior as well, and we'll see more of him in the future.
I like him already.
You do?
Yeah, he seems like a positive kid. He's on it. He's over here. He knows what he's got to do. He's involved. You know, he's here racing, trying to get laps, and that's all a rider wants is laps, and they'll just grow with it. This is a pretty good heat coming up in this Heat 9.
Yep, looks good here. Bartosz Smektala with 5 points so far in red off the inside. Dominic Kubera in blue off gate 2 with 4. Victor Lampart in white off gate 3 with 3. And Andreas Leaga goes in yellow off the outside with 5. So they've all been pretty good so far. And of course, Lampart won his first one, then had that crash. And again, he's going out after a track garage. So you have to watch that watering.
Absolutely.
Not been so much watering, it has to be said, between heats 8 and 9 as there was between 4 and 5. So we'll see what they make of it here with Smektala on the inside. Away they go, and Smektala, can he make it to the bend there in red? Yes, he can. Smektala has the lead. Kubera in blue trying to go round him, switching back is Leaga in yellow. It's the 2 Leszno riders out front having a battle, and Smektala has the lead with Kubera trying to turn back off bend 4, and Kubera tries to go inside Smektala, who goes back round him into the second lap. So the lead is with Smektala, with Kubera second, and Victor Lampart in third, just holding off Leaga there.
Yeah, as soon as this race gets halfway over, as they cross the start-finish line, a little bit of pushing there going on. The track and a little bit of water should be gone. These guys start racing a bit harder. Kubera's trying that inside over Smektala if he can possibly do it. Smektala, if he just makes any mistakes, I can see Kubera there ready to pounce on him.
Battle on for third. I think Leaga is slightly quicker than Lampart, but they can't quite take it away from the moment. Smektala still leads from Kubera.
On the high line now.
Yeah, Kubera trying to turn back. I think Smektala has just about got it covered as they go into the third and fourth for the final time. Now he goes wide off bend 4. Kubera will hold it really tight off the final bend. It will be Bartosz Smektala winning Heat 9 with Dominic Kubera in second. It's a 5-1 to Leszno. Lampart in third with Leaga out the back. So Smektala gets his second win of the meeting. Kubera is consistent with 3 second places so far, taking him on to 6. But Smektala is on to 8 from his 3 rides. Smektala winning Heat 9 from Kubera with Lampart in third place over Leaga.
Yeah, the track rode pretty stable for these guys. It was all about getting out of that start. And if he did make it from that outside gate on a freshly groomed track, you can see right there that Liager was actually looking left straight away, but up the inside was Smektala made a beautiful start to get himself in front. Camber was really working any line he could possibly get his hands on, really, to see if he can actually just dust off what little bit of moisture might be in the racetrack. That's slowing this bike down a bit, but it just comes down to the bike overspin a little bit. If you can get out of the start in these conditions after grooming the racetrack, you can dominate your lines, and that's exactly what Bartosz Smektala did. It was a good race for him.
Yep, Smektala a clear winner of Heat 9. Heat 10 next up, Robert Lambert, Nick Scoia, Davis Kermis and Philippe Hjelmland. So Lambert with 5 points, the stick-on favourite here on the inside, you would think. Philippe Hjelmland has scored 3. Lambert, by the way, has got a day off this week. There's no Sweden on Tuesday. They did local derbies home and away last week on Tuesday and Wednesday. So Lambert does have a day off this week on Tuesday. But we saw him in the pits just looking at his arm and so on. He's had the crashes in Cardiff last night. Also had a get off at Leicester on Monday when Christian Piszek turned it around in front of him, and also crashed on Wednesday in Sweden as well. So we haven't seen Lambert come down too much this season, and it sort of all tends to happen at once. And he's had a few knocks and bumps and bruises, which you get during a season, but I'm sure he'll be looking for a clear run this evening. Lambert inside, Scoia gate 2, Kermis gate 3, and Hjelmland off the outside, heat number 10 here in Leszno halfway stage of the qualifiers. They're all taking their third rides at the moment. Lambert off the inside gate in red, looking to dominate this race number 10, makes a good start and leads into the first bend, but turning back is Nick Scoia, and also turning back in yellow is Hjelmland, and Hjelmland here leads Lambert with Scoia in third place. So Lambert here will have to come from the back because Nick Scoia is coming through as well. Lambert turns off the fourth bend to move back into second place. He's very close to Hjelmland, but the trouble is that Scoia is almost in the way here. He might have to go between the pair here. Nice. He might just do that. He tries to peg the inside. He does go through into the lead. Robert Lambert gets in front of Philippe Hjelmland.
Yeah, you know, Lambert really had to work hard there. He had to read the racetrack, and he's not having all his own way right there. Hjelmland is really working, and he's on that outside line now. He come from that inside gate and had to reach up real high and just left the door wide open. Wow.
Well, yeah, hard work there for Robert Lambert, but he does get the advantage over Philippe Hjelmland. Eventually, the trouble was he couldn't make some of the moves he was planning because of the fact that Scoia was also in the battle in the early stages. Had to worry about him as well, but in the end, he got the better of both. Yeah. Robert Lambert comes off bend 4 and wins heat 10, maybe somewhat harder than expected, but he gets the job done. Lambert over Hjelmland with Scoia in third and Kermis out the back. Well, he made a good start off the inside, but the two that came into play really did do well on the second bend and gave him a race of it, but Lambert in the end good enough to get the better of Hjelmland on the second into the third lap, and Lambert wins heat 10 over Hjelmland with Scoia in third. But certainly that was an awkward race for him, but he worked out well what to do.
Maybe no panic in that ride, I would say. Riding really smooth and really confident. Robert Lambert, the GB rider on the inside, makes a great start from that inside gate, knows that the outside line is probably the best place to be to get your wheels in line there, but Philippe Hjelmland actually gets the better of Robert Lambert whenever they came down that back straightaway going into turns 3 and 4, and the race was on now. Lambert had to really think about what he was going to do. Straight up the inside, cross the path of Hjelmland, and to be able to get himself in front, but he didn't really have it sealed there yet, and he had to work even twice as hard going into the next couple of corners. But once he got himself comfortable, he was able to chase the high lines in a fair race from both these guys.
Lambert moves on to 8 points, as did Bartosz Smektala earlier in this set of heats. We await Maxim Drabik, who will be racing in heat 12. And that's the race which will see him go up against Joel Kling. But heat 11 is next up with Patrick Hansen, Dan Bewley, Fredrik Jakobsen and Daniel Kaczmarek at the start line here. Bewley going off gate 2 in blue. Has to be said, Tom, the gates have been pretty even here. No one's been dominant from a particular gating position. It seems fairly fair and even, so no real advantage there.
No, it's the right guys are still at the top of the points board, I would say. There's been some challenges as far as, you know, the changing of the track, but I think that's down to maybe the inexperience of some of the riders or falling victims of the conditions. But now they're pretty used to it now, and the weather's absolutely beautiful. and the track's holding up, as you said, so there's really no complaints from anybody. Yeah.
Talking to Robert Lambert.
Yep. Just debriefing him a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, the sun is just about threatening to go down, but still a very warm evening here in Leszno, and the riders into line for heat 11. Hansen inside, Bewley gate 2, Jakobsen gate 3, Kaczmarek off the outside, they go away, and Bewley has made a good one again in blue, and Bewley gets to the first bend in front. Kaczmarek tries to go right round the outside, and he's going to battle with Jakobsen into the third bend. They're still neck and neck. Jakobsen inside in white, trying to hold the inside line. Kaczmarek will try and turn back while this is going on. Bewley is stretching clear, and back down the inside comes Kaczmarek to take second place from Jakobsen. Hansen's also in the picture, but in the picture, or maybe out of the picture, because he's so far in front, Dan Bewley.
Yeah, Dan Bewley's done the business to get out of that start, really attacked the start, got himself out front. So really good to see that the racetrack's giving the guys in second and third a good race. You can just see right here that Jakobsen's cut back, but he's getting under pressure as well right now from Hansen.
Yeah, Patrick Hansen and Jakobsen having a Danish dust up there on the third and fourth bend. It looks like Hansen may have made his way through. He's put his right leg out, trying to push his man out of the way. They're still neck and neck. Bewley's a mile clear out front, and we love to see Bewley come from the back, but goodness me, if he can get more consistent with gating, as he's showing tonight, this is the result. Dan Bewley by a mile in race number 11, with Kaczmarek in second and Hansen third, with Jakobsen at the back. As I say, he's such an entertainer, Dan Bewley, especially fans at Bellevue will know that from the way he blasts from the back around the National Speedway Stadium. You can't do that on every circuit. You have to be consistent gating. He's doing that tonight, and he's getting himself out in front and winning by a distance. Bewley, Kaczmarek, Hansen.
Very quick out of the start. He double clutched it. That's Bewley. As soon as he dumped that clutch, he had to grab a second grab at it. As soon as he grabbed the second grab, he just pulled away. The bike settled down, both wheels on the ground, and he started driving. He turned the bike right, nice and tidy up the kind of inside of the racetrack, and the boys that were fighting for second place then had their own battle. That's Jakobsen and Kaczmarek really going to battle here. The whole 4 laps, it seemed like they were battling, but just towards the end of their little battle, they just got a little bit of pressure from Patrick Hansen that finally figured out the combination of this racetrack and put himself amongst them. But as you said, Dan Bewley, class act in this heat number 11, made the start and just checked out. But here's the battle right now. Look at there, Patrick Hansen from the inside there was really putting the pressure on Jakobsen to be able to claim a better place. That's 1 point more than Jakobsen got.
Patrick Hansen on to 3 points, and Fredrik Jakobsen on to 2, or stays on 2, so not the kind of event they would want so far. Lajaga, the top scoring Dane, on 5 from 3 rides, but Dan Bewley on to 7 points with that victory. Is currently third in the meeting, likely to drop to 4th in heat 12, you would say, because Drabik is out here in yellow, but Bewley going very well so far. We're delighted with 7 points from 3 rides.
Yeah, I would say he would be. And to be able to ride these big open racetracks as Leszno is, it's one of the circuits that most of the time you got to have an extremely good horsepower under you. But I say the track's riding a bit slick, so whatever he's doing it right.
Heat 12 is next up, with Joel Kling off the inside in red with 5 points so far. We've got 2 no scorers in blue and white, Robert Schmel and Daniel Spillup in blue and white, and the unbeaten Maxim Drabik goes in yellow off the outside. So you would have to suspect it's going to be Kling v Drabik here. We can almost be surprised, but red and yellow are the 2 strong favourites here in race 12, and away they go. Joel Kling off the inside, doesn't make a very good one, and Drabik coming across from the outside, and Drabik, I think, will get the better of Kling there off the second bend. Schmel made quite a good start too, and he's trying to make his way past Kling into the third bend. Kling covers him off mid-track off bend 4. Schmel trying to turn through on the inside to start the second lap, and Drabik has the advantage here over Joel Kling. It looks like Kling has now got control of second over Robert Schmel. Yeah, Schmel just kept Kling honest there. Kling's now focusing on where he can get some advantage to be able to keep Drabik, which is going to be a tall order to do. Drabik's actually got that thing hooked up, riding the perfect outside line, and the bike's just going away from the rest of the pack, really. Drabik making starts from almost everywhere here so far this evening, and rides the track well, rides it outside with the thing in the second, with Schmel in third, and still up on the back, the late entry into the meeting nothing yet to score away from 3 rides if this result stays as it is on the 3rd and 4th bend for the final time for Maxim Drabik, the race leader and the meeting leader and the champion as well. 9 points from 9. Maxim Drabik wins heat 12 over Joel Kling, and it's Robert Schmel in 3rd place over Daniel Spiver. So Drabik so far having all the answers here in Leszno tonight, and still only dropped 1 point in the series so far, as the series is basically at the halfway stage, and Drabik is still very much the man to beat. Drabik winning heat 12 from the outside gate, with Joel Kling in 2nd place and Robert Schmel in 3rd.
That's an impressive stat. The defending champ in
29 points out of the possible 30.
Exactly. So he really means business. He wants to hold on to this championship no matter what it's going to take, and he's doing it very cleanly by getting the start from that outside gate quite easily for him. Really, the track came to him, even though I don't think anything really need to worry him. He's got that bike set up really well, riding with loads of confidence. Joel Kling had to really fight for his 2nd place, only because he was trying to focus on getting the best out of the racetrack and see if he can catch Drabik. And after he kept going for it, Schmel was just coming up that inside and just teasing him a little bit, pulling him away from his thoughts. But still, Drabik, the king of Leszno tonight, is just going for it, man. He's got that bike hooked up, working really well for himself.
Yep, Drabik, the king of Leszno, of course, not a Leszno rider, as you see from Smektala and Kibera. Drabik, very much a Wrocław man, and born in Częstochowa, in fact, but riding for Wrocław in the Ekstraliga, and finished 2nd also in this Polish Championship semi-final at Częstochowa. Very much on home territory there as well. So Drabik having good results everywhere once again. Was involved in Leonen's double head-up, home and away against Vastovic last week. Not good results for them, but solid points for him in those meetings, and a very solid 9 points from 9 for Maxim Drabik in the Under-21 round 2 so far this evening. Incidentally, heat 13 after the track break will feature Drabik and Lambert.
Co się wydarzyło w tym jego ostatnim starcie, bo 2 pierwsze były naprawdę dobre, a w 3. przywiózł 0. Andreas, the beginning of the meeting was actually pretty good for you. What happened in your last heat?
Yeah, I had a pretty difficult gate on the outside, yeah, and I make a shit gate, and the track here today make it pretty hard to pass because the material out here is so heavy, yeah.
No miałem nie najlepsze pole startowe, powiedział Andreas Liager. No i tor nie nadaje się dzisiaj za bardzo do wyprzedzania, bo nawierzchnia jest dosyć ciężka. I would like to ask you about your additional job, because I know that you, like the other day in Mikkelbeck, work for your sponsor.
Yeah.
Mikkel makes coffins, yeah? Do you do something unusual, unusual as him or not?
No, I'm working at this company, you know. Sometimes, you know, we rent out steel plates, you know, so that's what I'm doing when I'm no racing speedway, yeah, so.
Andreas oprócz tego, że jeździ na żużlu, pracuje podobnie jak jego inny rodak, Michael Bech, w firmie swojego sponsora, w której sprzedają metalowe płytki. No i od czasu do czasu się tym zajmuje, pomaga swojemu głównemu sponsorowi. I would like to ask you now about Marek Cieślak, because you said some nice words about him. Do you feel that under his wings, Andreas Jager is getting better and better rider, even if you don't have as many chances to start as you think, as you want?
Yeah, I've done a lot of practice in Częstochowa, yeah, and I keep working hard, but it's a hard team and it's hard to get in there, you know, so, but I will keep on working and I hope it will be better at the time, yeah.
Zapytałam Andreasa o jego sytuację w Częstochowie, bo on powiedział w jednym z wywiadów, że bardzo się cieszy, że może być pod skrzydłami Marka Cieślaka, bo wie, że stanie się lepszym zawodnikiem. Zapytałam go o ten brak startu, bo jednak trener Marek Cieślak nie stawia na niego tak często, jak Duńczyk by sobie tego życzył. Powiedział, że on pracuje bardzo ciężko, ciężko się przebić do drużyny, bo drużyna jest naprawdę bardzo mocna, no ale on się nie poddaje i robi wszystko, żeby w końcu tą szansę dostać. In the end, I would like to ask you about your other hobby, because I heard that you are a fitness freak. Is it true?
No, that's not true. It was like 3-4 years ago, yeah. So, no, I'm just chilling around, do some road bike and stuff like that, and some kickboxing when I have time for it, and that's actually it.
Zapytałam Andreasa na koniec o jego hobby, bo słyszałam, że jest bardzo zaangażowany w fitness. Powiedział, że nie, no to było 3-4 lata temu, teraz czasami wybierze się na jakiś rower. No i tyle, zawsze chcę być po prostu w ruchu, żeby być w formie, ale nie można powiedzieć, że szaleję na punkcie siłowni. Dziękuję bardzo.
Andreas Lauger giving us an insight into his hobbies and on and off track, and not happy about his gating in his previous ride either. Maxim Drabik winning 3 of his rides so far, 9 points from 9. Smektala and Lambert both on 8. Bewley and Kling both on 7. Kuba up on 6. Lajaga and Kaczmarek currently have the semi-final places with 5 over Hjelmland on countback, but of course that can all change in their next couple of outings. And then just outside, Lampard, who won his first ride, now on 4, and Patrick Hansen on 3. So things are shaping up, but as you said, Sam, the people at the top are really who you'd expect, but Bewley with 7, that's a big plus for him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's nice to see. Oh, here we go. Another interview, maybe. I
think we're going to get some more from the pits in a moment, but yeah, Bewley's won 2 rides. Lambert taking a look at the track, because he will be in blue in heat 13. Drabik will be in red, so that will be a big clash to come up as well.
Yeah, Dan Bewley's been very impressive to me. I mean, I think he's impressed the whole Speedway world, really. What little bit of experience he's got. He's able to adapt to a lot of different kind of riding conditions. Some people says the bigger tracks will suit him, but then again, as a motorcyclist and willing to learn, any track's a challenge. And watch him adapt so far in a couple of the races tonight here. I mean, the guy's got a heck of a lot of talent. And to be able to be up against a fellow countryman like Robert Lambert, that's just riding on such a high right now, it's got to be inspirational to the kid.
First time I saw Bewley was actually at Wolverhampton, which is a track that you know really well, and it was a bit all or nothing, but the talent was there straight off, and he was very, very quick. He did wipe a few people out along the way, but you could see what was there, and just honing that slightly over the next few weeks, it turned him into well, one of the hottest talents in the sport.
And he's proven it here in the under-21. The second round, he's actually really been able to show what he's made of. Leszno is one of those tracks that if you either got it or you don't, and these guys are all still young in their career, and when you can come around a track like this and perform to a level of taking big points away from it, whatever conditions the track will bring to you, it's just an experience that you can take that a long way.
Well, I still remember the moves that the Poles made in the World Cup final last year when they won it comfortably, but the racing was out of this world because the moves they pulled around the circuit, it was like they were racing a different track to everybody else, to be honest, the way they were doing so, and that was the top Poles. But these next set, the Drabiks, the Smektalas and so on, they're not far behind, and it just tells you how strong that nation is.
Yeah, sure. Like I'll mention, and I've mentioned already, I've always known Leszno as being a track that it's not very often that it's slick. It's one of those kind of tracks that a little bit of material on it, it gives you a bit more of a grip when you're really moving on it, will make some tremendous kind of racing for really any kind of caliber of rider. But I would say the combination at the moment here for today's event is really exceptional. The boys are being able to swap moves and get away with some nice racing lines.
I think Smektala is about to speak to us, but I would think in Polish, but just allowing our Polish language experts to understand what Bartosz is saying there. But in the meantime, back here in the commentary box, let's build up on a big heat 13 to come, because we have Drabik in red, we have Lambert in blue, and we have Kaczmarek in white and Lampard in yellow. So it's a really good lineup here.
When you look on paper, bring this one to your attention if you're the rider in it. You know, what strategies are you going to have? Obviously, the first one is to make the start, see if you can dominate the first corner. Secondly is what options are you going to have if you don't make the start, and how you're going to deal with it. All 4 of these riders, I think, are capable of taking points away from each other. Obviously, the current world champion, Maxime Drabic, on the inside has got to be the one that's going to dominate the first corner. He's either got a choice of holding down low, keeping it tight through the first corner, or moving up a little bit. The track's just been graded, just been groomed. Robert Lambert will be thinking about it, yeah. Robert Lambert will be thinking right now that, and I'm sure Hans Nielsen's probably will concur to the fact that the track is at the condition it is after a grading, so these guys all got to deal with those things.
Drabic is currently 4 points in front of Lambert in the series as they meet in heat 13. Drabic, Lambert, Kaczmarek and Lampard get away, and Drabic has just edged Lambert into the first bend, and now turning back is Daniel Kaczmarek, and Lambert turns back well, and Lambert can he get inside Drabic, and goes back around him into bend 3. Maxime Drabic still leads from Lambert. Lambert very hard into the third and fourth bend, but Drabic still has the advantage. Drabic over Lambert, now Lampard has gone third over Kaczmarek. Lambert is giving Drabic a real battle here in heat 13, but the reigning champion still holds out up front.
Yeah, now we're coming into the second lap now. It's real important that the racetrack now is racing, and right now Travis Scott control this race, I would say.
But Victor Lampard is putting pressure on Robert Lambert, trying to hold the inside line throughout this race. I think you'll see Lambert go a bit tighter this time. Yes, he does on bench 3 and 4. Lampard got out of shape a bit. They've fended off Kaczmarek. But Maxime Drabic, you do wonder, scored 20 points in the first round, and you wonder whether it could be set to go to the card here tonight, because so far he's making superb starts. He's controlling races. You've got a threat there from Lambert, but he still came through one comfortably. Maxime Drabic over Robert Lambert, with Victor Lampard in third and Daniel Kaczmarek out the back. Maxime Drabic make that 4 rides and 4 wins and 32 points from a possible 33 so far this season. The pole is very much the man to beat, and so far tonight nobody can. Drabic wins heat 13, Lambert second and Lampard third.
Impressive heat number 13. 13's good. 13's good, but it wasn't good enough for Robert Lambert. He threw everything he had at this one. It was Maxime Drabic, the current world champion, under 21 world champion, to be labeled correctly, and he makes the start from that inside gate, takes the risk of going straight up to the dirt. They just groomed the racetrack. Could be risky going into turn 3 at full speed. Robert Lambert was trying to see if he can beat Drabic into that turn 3 and control the race by slipping across the inside up to the outside, but there wasn't enough for him. Traction right here is where Lambert was losing it. Going across some of that greasy bit from the track grade, a little bit of water put on there. I would say that Maxime Drabic took the gamble, and that paid off. He really understood what the conditions were going to give him, and he did well. As Robert Lambert was chasing the dirt, trying to do it, he didn't have it all his own way. Victor Lampard was really throwing it up on the inside, and at this point Robert Lambert had to give up that big challenge on the outside and cover that second place, and he only just did that, I would say, at the finish of this race. But a good ride there from Drabic to clinch that heat number 13.
Drabic 12 points from 12, and of course the third round in Pardubice at the end of September, also a meeting he performed well in last year when he clinched the title, so he's feeling good about things, about his title defence here in 2018, but still plenty more big rides to come. Heat 14 next up, Philip Hjelmland in red off the inside, 5 points so far. Joel Kling's gone well, he's got 7, he's in blue off gate 2. It's Patrick Hansen in white, and Andreas Leaga goes in yellow.
Scandinavian boys in this heat number 14. You're going to be battling to see who gets in there. A perfect heat 13. So all these youngsters will be looking on to say, come on then, what are these track conditions going to give me when I get out there? If they have to make some adjustments, now's the time to do it. Whether you're coming from the outside gates or you're coming from the inside gates, you got to be able to have the speed and be able to get the bike hooked up. The track is still good for all these guys.
Leaga off the outside, made a 4-star last time, now off that gate to finish last. He's trying to get away from the outside this time, but it's Joel Kling in blue who gets the advantage. Hjelmland trying to turn back off the second bend, but Kling in blue leads it up the inside because Patrick Hansen trying to go from third to first. That's going to get close on bench 3 and 4. Patrick Hansen in white, Joel Kling in blue, and they're neck and neck into that two. It looks like Hansen might just have it. Hansen trying to run across the line of Kling, who holds the outside, and now it's Hansen back in front once again with Leaga in third place.
Yeah, Joel Kling just stepped it off a little bit going down that back straightaway of that last lap there, and just lost position there. Patrick Hansen battled for that position, and he got it.
Good ride by Patrick Hansen to lead Kling, and now Leaga going through on the inside as well, moving through into second place. We'll put him on to 7 if he can hang on to it. Not too bad after 4 rides, although Kling will try and hit back off the final bend. Good ride by Patrick Hansen out in front. He race leads after a terrific battle early on with Joel Kling, but Kling has really gone backwards as the race has gone on. Helmland coming in to try and battle for third place as well, but it will be a win for Patrick Hansen in heat number 14. He takes the flag. Second place for Andreas Lajaga with Joel Kling in third and Philip Helmland out the back. Good action there for the first couple of laps in heat 14, and Hansen was the lowest scorer of those four riders going into the race, only 3 points going in, but he moves on to 6 and gives himself a chance of a place in the semi-final, especially as heat 17 doesn't look too bad for him. Good ride by Hansen to win heat 14.
Yeah, I'll take your note on the fact that it looked like Joe Kling was actually having some trouble with his bike, maybe, because when he was going down that back straightaway, ultimately when Patrick Hansen actually got the best of him, but out of the start there, it was really good to see the cutback from Patrick Hansen to be able to use the corner going in, coming out of gate 3, didn't quite make a good enough start, was able to turn the bike back. And there, right there, we can see Helmland getting into that first corner in the red there, but it was all about Joel Kling in blue that let the bike run up the back straightaway, and beautiful cutback from Hansen to get himself into the driving position going into turn 3. And as these guys got really close down that back straightaway, you can just kind of see the fact that it looks like Kling's bike just is not going anywhere, is it? So I would take your observation of that possibly having a faulty bike problem there a little bit. He looked like he was fairly much on the pace at the beginning of that race, and they just all went backwards on him.
Patrick Hansen back from a collarbone injury, and you can tell that as well, but really good ride there, heat 14 to win it, and he's currently in the top 8 on the night. Heat 15 is next up. Dominic Kibera with 6 points in red off the inside. Fredrik Jakobsen goes in blue. He's only got 2 so far, so he'll be looking for more here in heat 15. Daniel Spiller yet to score in white off gate 3, and Nick Scoria in yellow off the outside. He's got 2, but Kibera 3 second places so far. He'll be favourite here to win heat 15.
Being on that inside gate, those choices are wide. You either hug it down low, let it ride up to the dirt, get going. The other 3 riders were thinking the same thing. Who can get to the dirt first?
We've seen Scoria make some useful first bend moves, and he's only ended up with 2 points from his first 3 rides, but could get involved, and in yellow, and Jakobsen in blue will need to step up here in heat 15 as well. Such a good start by Kibera. He's got the bike on the front wheel down, now does move out on the first bend, and turning back is Jakobsen, and I think Kibera actually turned went too wide, and now look at that on the inside as well. Kibera goes surging through. There's not too much room with 3 abreast. He's managed to make his way through. It's Scoria in second, and Jakobsen in third. And Jakobsen won't believe that after the turn back he pulled off on the second bend to end up in third place. How did Kibera pull that one off?
I can tell you, Kibera, that was a beautiful and slick move. He had to needle his way through those guys, and a perfect combination right there. Goya didn't really know what was happening to him, but Goya's not having it all his own way. Just got in trouble right there under pressure by Jakobsen.
Yep, Scoria battling with Jakobsen, who goes back through into second place on the back straight. But Jakobsen makes a mistake off bend 4, which could give a chance for Scoria to come back at him as they race into the final lap. Meanwhile, Kibera has checked off and gone. I think he went too wide on turn 2 in the first place to give himself a difficult opening lap, but by golly, he totally pulled it off there, up on that top turn. And Dominic Kibera wins heat 15 with a spectacular ride over Fredrik Jakobsen, with Nick Scoria in third place and Daniel Spiller out the back. That was one to watch again. Dominic Kibera on the opening lap of heat 15. 3 into 1 on turn 3, and somehow they all stayed upright and all got round, and Kibera came through in the middle to take the win. Great ride, Kibera winning heat 15 over Jakobsen with Scoria in third. A very eventful first lap there.
Very eventful, that's for sure. Kibera made the start, got himself into the corner, let the bike go right up in there, just left the door open for the rest of the guys to be able to come and get in his way. Jakobsen first, and then Jakobsen goes a little bit too wide, and at that time, Scoria was right up the inside too, but it was really nice to see that there was no panic from Kibera. He made it from the start, let the bike go right up where he needed to get the bike at full speed, and then the boys came in. He was able to have a clear run, just turns the bike back, one on the inside, one on the outside, slickly gets himself through there, lets the back wheel come up and kiss that little bit of dirt up there and pull himself in front. No panic here, just pure determination, and felt control about it. He has number 8 on his back with the red helmet color right there, and a dominating first lap, I would say, in that heat number 15.
Got to say, that sensation sensational judgment up there, but we're watching the slowed down replays here. They're doing it at speed, split-second judgment to make a clean move.
I think that's exactly what Leszno brings to you. This gives the riders so many options, gives them confidence. They go into the corner, that banking, it might be hard to see on the TV here, but when they go into that corner, that just holds them in position, and they're able to glide across the racetrack knowing that the bike's inching themselves forward. It gives them that confidence to make those kind of moves.
Heat 16 features Dan Bewley off the inside in red, Bartosz Smektala in blue off gate 2, Robert Schmel in white off gate 3, Davis Kumis in yellow off the outside. Bewley against Smektala here.
Let's see what happens here. Bewley on the inside gate. He knows what the trend is. Gate 1. Do you stay low, hug the inside, let the rest of the boys go find that traction, or do you steer the whole everybody outside of you up into that dirt and see what's going to happen? Leaves you vulnerable coming off of turn 2. We just witnessed it in heat 15. What's Dan Bewley going to do? Smektala is a very smart guy. He'll know those options that are right there, and just give the other guys some credit on the outside of them too. They're all going to be looking for those opportunities to unveil.
Well, Smektala has done millions of laps around this circuit. Bewley is certainly not. So the advantage of Norwich certainly goes with Smektala in blue. Let's see what they make of heat 16. Bewley again makes a sensational start. Bewley with a great start. Now Smektala will have to work for it, especially as Schmel's turning back off Ventura. Schmel has got second here, and Smektala dives down the inside of Schmel and gets a clean pass done there and keeps the bike running on turn 3 and 4. But Bewley is quick. Bewley is really quick. We've seen that so far. The road to winning, and Smektala will have to reel him in. Bewley here leads Smektala.
I'm taking my hat off to this kid. How does he know how to do that? He made the start from the inside. He kept it really tight, gained loads of speed somehow or another right off that inside line. By the time he got into turn 3, he's up to full speed, controlling the race. Smektala did everything he could to keep pace, and this is the best he's going to do.
He is riding this circuit superbly, Dan Bewley. Smektala is trying to fling in big moves on the inside. Bewley just lifts a bit off them 4, but he's still got loads of speed, loads of pace, and he's riding that dirt line mid-track, and he leads the back straight for the final time, and Smektala has got no real answer to it. Round turn 3 and 4 they come, this time a bit tighter, and Dan Bewley, a stunning ride to win heat 16. Bewley over Smektala with Schmel in 3rd, Kumis at the back. That's a massive statement of where Dan Bewley is going in this sport, the progress he's making at rapid rates. He's just beaten, clearly, a home track expert in Bartosz Smektala. We know how good Smektala is. How good's Dan Bewley?
I couldn't have said it better. Well said there, Mr. Rell. That is exactly right. This kid, Dan Bewley, just made a decision that I was going to kind of challenge if he made it wrong, but he didn't. He went straight out of the gate, inside gate. Watch him in the red. Didn't be tempted to go to the high line. Straight to the inside. White line rode the first corner. Kept the thing going. He had plenty of speed around there. Up in the high line in blue with Smektala. He got his wheels in line going into turns 3. Was up the inside of Bewley, and at this point the race was on. But no panic from Bewley. He was able to hold on to the outside line and enjoy his 4 laps in front of everybody else. And credit to the young lad to be able to think so nice.
Really like that, the intelligence of that as you mentioned, holding it tight on bends 1 and 2, but then moved out. He knew where the threat was going to come from Smektala. He covered everything. It was a perfect ride.
And let's give Mark a little bit of credit. Possibly that's the guy giving him some advice right there, or at least being debriefed right there, and he's probably saying, well done, you did exactly what you needed to do. Full traction through the first corner, bend the bike on the inside, get it to hook up the best you can do. And he had plenty of speed, too, down that back straightaway for him to be able to win that race.
So whilst Kubera gives his interview in Polish, let's run you through the scores after 4 rides apiece, whilst we have the tractors back on the circuit here in Leszno. Drabik unbeaten with 12 points from 4 rides and looking good. Dan Bewley with 10, Bartosz Smektala with 10, and Robert Lambert with 10. And Bewley currently placed second in the meeting by virtue of his 3 race wins. Kubera has 9, looking solid. Kling has 8, Lajaga has 7, and Hansen on 6. Those are currently the top 8 at this stage. Right, the top 8 go through to the semi-finals of the meeting. Just outside that, Victor Lampart, Daniel Kaczmarek, and Philip Kjelmland all on 5. So they've certainly all got a chance as they go into the final block of races. And then Jakobsen on 4, Skoya on 3. Probably going to have to maybe not going to get through on this occasion unless things really go their way. But yeah, Bewley, 3 wins in his last 3 rides. He goes up against Drablik in his next one, so he's beaten Smektala, and then he goes up against Drablik in heat 18. So that will be an interesting one to look out for. And Lambert's final rides against Smektala in 19. So some big clashes of the top men coming in the final block of races to come this evening, and the top 8 go into the semis, and then they carry the points all the way through to the final. So yeah, that's certainly sent out a big statement there. Dan Bewley winning heat 16 over Bartosz Smektala. And what will that do to the Smektala camp? Will they be surprised that this young pretender has come in? That you said that Bewley doesn't know too much about his opponents. Well, do they know too much about Bewley? Well, they do now.
That's a great question. I don't know. I just kind of got the senses when I was walking around the pits, and I was able to tag on the back around the racetrack when they were walking and exploring what the track conditions were going to be like. I can hear Neil Vatch say to me that, you know, Dan doesn't fear nobody because he doesn't even know these guys, you know. And as you just said, do they know who Dan Bewley is? Well, they're going to definitely know who he is after today, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's ridden really well. It's great to see. He came second in the qualifier at Vetlanda, which was a meeting actually won by Gleb Chuganov, who sadly isn't here because he broke his leg in the intervening period. But Bewley's set his intention out there, and he's carrying it through.
And you know, the hard thing is Vetlander's not a very easy racetrack to go there for your first time and actually score big points to go there. I mean, that was one of my earlier rounds in my career as an Intercontinental final, and I did qualify through it to get to my first World Final. But yeah, it's a racetrack that really sucks up the horsepower, and probably one of the hardest one to dominate. If you're in a weight track going into Vetlander in the Swedish league, you fear them.
Dokładnie tak, specjalnie dla was ze mną Filip Hiermland, którego na początku zapytam o tą jego dyspozycję dzisiaj właśnie, bo wydaje się, że jest zdecydowanie lepiej niż było ostatnio w Daugavpils, i zapytam, co jest tego przyczyną. Philip, your performance seems to be much better today than in Daugavpils during the first round. It's because you feel better on this track, or you did some change with the bikes?
Yeah, it's we feel more comfortable today, and we make some speed, but we try to fight as much as we can. And yeah, we struggle a little bit, but we're coming forward. So we see what's going on.
Zobaczymy, co się będzie działo. No, jestem w miarę zadowolony ze swojego rezultatu. Troszeczkę walczymy, męczymy się, szukamy cały czas tej szybkości, mimo że nie jest najgorzej, ale zobaczymy, jak to będzie. Mówi spokojny i opanowany Filip, którego zapytam teraz o Stal Gorzów, bo on jest rezerwowym zawodnikiem gorzowskiej drużyny i powiedział w jednym z wywiadów, że Stal Gorzów to klub, któremu on kibicuje od dziecka. Zapytam, dlaczego akurat wybór padł na Stal Gorzów. Philip, you are the rider who is a perfect example for make his dreams come true, because you are reserve rider for Stal Gorzów. You said in one interview that that's your favorite club from the beginning when you were a child. Why you choose Stal Gorzów? Why this club is your favorite one?
No, since I was a little child and look at Speedway, always a big club, and my idols come from there, and my mentor David Rudis was racing there a lot when I was looking at him, so it's one of my favorite tracks and clubs in the world, so it's nice to be a part of it. So hopefully will be more and more heats there in the future.
So which riders are your idols?
David Ruud and Richard Francis.
Okay. Zapytałam właśnie o tą Stal Gorzów, dlaczego to jest jego ulubiony klub. Powiedział, że to odkąd jest dzieckiem kibicuje temu klubowi, bo jego idole jeździli tam, Dawid Rud i Rysiek Franciszyn. Dlatego on się cieszy, że może być częścią tej drużyny. No i zobaczymy, ma nadzieję na lepsze starty. Zapytam też, jak bardzo podpatruje Martina Waculika i Bartka Zmarzlika, z którymi startuje na co dzień i w Elitwetlandzie, i w Stali Gorzów. Are Bartek Zmarzlik and Martin Waculik riders who you look up to? You race together in Elitvetlanda as well in Stal Gorzów?
Yeah, for sure, and Simon Wozniak also. They're good people and good mates to talk with, and do many changes and practice all together, so they're good guys, so we try to make the best of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Powiedział, że tak, no są to świetni kumple, on bardzo dużo się może od nich nauczyć, zarówno Martin, jak i Bartek, dlatego on się cieszy, że może ich podpatrywać na torze i wyciągać naukę z ich jazdy.
What about his development, rapid development, having to adapt to racing at the higher level, which he's doing every time he comes in, he gets better and better. But it's also a great testament to his equipment and his backup that also is on the pace for the high level.
I think when you're based on a big track like the Manchester Club is, you need to have the bikes that are set up going on to be able to perform on bigger tracks. And England's got a reputation of a lot of small tracks, but then the Manchester track's been built quite, I don't know exactly how many meters it is, but it's a big track.
I think it was modelled on Torren, wasn't it? They went to Torren and looked at it and thought, we want to recreate Torren, and to be fair, they did a pretty good job of it.
And I think that alone right there is giving the kid the opportunity to be able to get used to the speeds, be able to race at the level of this kind of a competition will be able to give them. And fear nobody, really, because you don't know anybody. But, I'm just impressed with his racing talent. There's not too many guys that you can say that you can put on a start line. How many years has he been riding? 3 years?
It's only his third year, two and a half years of competitive.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just extraordinary.
I mean, give him some credit. He's a smart kid, obviously. He understands what he's doing on a motorbike. I know he's got a huge career in front of him, and it sounds like he's doing the right thing. And it's just impressive to watch him learning the skill so rapidly.
Well, he's got one ride to come in the main part, or the qualifying part of the meeting, but he'll certainly be in the semi-finals. He'll be up against Maxim Drabik in Heat 18, so that's perhaps the ultimate test. He's passed the test as Smetala, and then he's up against Drabik in his last one. But from a GB perspective, we're going to see both Bewley and Lambert surely in the semis tonight. They've both got 10 points from 4 rides, so that's going to be absolutely fine, because the cut-off is currently 5 points in 9th place. So they're definitely in the semis tonight. It's a question of keep clocking up points. Gate picks, of course. The gates are fairly equal tonight, but you always want to be...
Yeah, the points earn you that opportunity to have the best gates. Yeah,
absolutely. So 2 minutes on for the riders for Heat 17 as they come on track for their final qualifying ride here in Leszno, where the sun has gone down. It's given way to a really nice evening here, and it's going to be Lampard there in red, Hansen in blue, Kermis in white, and Spiller in yellow, Heat 17.
Yeah, Heat 17. It's interesting. These are, what would you say? There's 2 guys that haven't scored any points, so there we go. So it's going to be pretty easy for Lampard and Hansen probably to go out there and dominate this one. A freshly groomed racetrack too. And if I could just throw in there right at the moment, I just had a message from my mom to say hello to her from California. If you're listening, she's finally figured out how to turn the computer on and watch on YouTube. All you YouTube watchers out there enjoying this this meeting here at Leszno in Poland. But this Heat 17, Victor Lampard on that inside's got to be able to dominate that first corner. Patrick Hansen's going quite well. The freshly groomed racetrack, I can't see any big upsets really in this one.
These two on the inside on 5 and 6 points respectively, and they're going to need big points here to put pressure on the ones on 6, 7, 8. And Lampard started so well with a win in his first ride in Heat 1, but has then had a bit of a tougher time with a crash.
By falling over. He overturned it on a track very similar to this right now because it was freshly groomed on his second ride, and he came in and overcooked it and got himself. But he picked himself back up, and then he scored two third places, so this is his chance now.
Yep, these points here. Patrick Hansen has put himself back in play with a win in his previous ride. He's in blue, Kermis in white, Spiller in yellow, both yet to score, so that should be broken by someone here in Heat 17. Away they go, and it's Lampard getting the advantage over Hansen into the first bend. Lampard leads in red, Hansen turning it tight off the second bend, but Lampard leads from Hansen with Kermis in third place over Spiller, but a strong move there on the inside by Patrick Hansen, trying to move Lampard aside. Lampard still leads onto his second lap, but Hansen certainly there. You've seen him making moves on the inside earlier in the meeting. He's going to try and do so again, but so far, Victor Lampard out in front.
Yeah, Lampard's really defended it. He's actually being out in front right there. You're able to pick your lines there. You want to chase right there. Patrick Hansen really do whatever he can on that inside, but now he shows a little to the outside. As the track gets a little bit better, but he looks like he's just getting a little bit away from him now, Lampard is.
But things stay as they are. They're both finished on 8 points, but Lampard will have the place over Hansen with the extra race win, and having 2 race wins, 8 points, that might be enough for a place in the semi-finals. Lampard leads still over Hansen. The battle is still on for third, with Davis Kermis just about holding Daniel Spiller at bay. But the front 2 come round, then 3 and 4, and it will be a second race victory for Lampard, who wins wins it, tight for third, and my word, Darius Kermis makes absolutely sure that Daniel Spiller can't get around him off the fourth bend. Kermis gets that point, and Spiller goes through the meeting without scoring a point, very close there off the fourth bend. But more importantly, out in front, Victor Lampard winning heat 17, and that puts him into the top 6 overall as things stand, and it means the likes of Lyaga, Kaczmarek and Helmland need to hit back in their final rides.
Absolutely. Anytime there's a race in front of you, you got to score some points, and there was no doubt about it that Victor Lampard knew that inside gate might be the advantage he needs to be able to clinch this heat number 17, where Patrick Hansen, the Dane, was really looking to see if he can actually put the pressure on Lampard to pull him off line. But just getting out of that start is all important at this moment, especially in the minor places of qualifying for the semifinals right now. This is only heat 17. That was the last ride for these guys in their race, but there's still more, well, at least the two that right now that are finishing off, and first and second anyway.
So we'll see where that leaves them, but certainly at the moment, both Lampard and Hansen are in the top 8, but we'll see where things stand after heat 20. They're still going to watch the next 3 to find out what happens. Heat 18, Dan Bewley in red off the inside, Philip Helmland in blue. He's one of the riders that could move his way into the top 8, but a really tough one to do it in here, it must be said. Helmland on 5 points, but if he looks to his right, he'll see Maxim Drabik, who's scored 12, and if he looks further to his right, he'll see Dominik Kubera, who's got 9. So it is the toughest race possible for Philip Helmland here, that man in blue. Bewley in red goes up against Drabik and Kubera. Going to be a tough one, but purely with a British hat on, how good is it to come to these meetings abroad and see British riders? We saw it with Lambert and Gustro last week. See British riders up there in the scoring. Fantastic.
What a test this will be, huh? And I tell you what, the way Dan Bewley's been riding, I don't think he'll be making the mistake right here. It's going to be more like Maxime Drabik's going to have to be able to pull this one out. Coming from gate number 3 in the white helmet color, he's going to have to do, he's got to fend off Kubera on the outside, which is pretty handy around here too. So let's see what happens.
Bewley, Helmland, and Drabik and Kubera go away, and Drabik again up and explosive from the gate, but Bewley isn't too bad either. Kubera trying to get around him off the second band. He's done so. He puts Bewley back to third place. Drabik leads them from Kubera, and he'll try the inside run now up on bench 3 and 4, and meanwhile in big trouble off the outside. How on earth Helmland stopped on there, I really don't know. The race continues, and Drabik leads with Kubera putting a challenge in, and Bewley not too far behind.
Yeah, Drabik's actually sealing the deal now. He knows exactly what his position was there in that heat number 18. The start was so important for him to get out in front, let the minor places build. That's Kubera that actually put him under immense pressure. Bewley's not going to give up.
Yep, front 3 well clear of Helmland, who took very much the scenic route round Ben 3 and 4 first time and almost toppled the fence. They started off lap, and Maxim Drabik on his way to going to a 15-point maximum in the qualifying races. Dominik Kubera very consistent in second, but Bewley trying to put up big lines too in third. He'll be going through too with 11 points, it would seem, as they come round turn 3 and 4 for the final time, and it is a win and a 15-point maximum to boot for Maxim Drabik in the qualifying races. Drabik over Kubera with Bewley in third place in heat 18. Drabik takes a further step towards defending his under-21 title with the victory. With Kubera in second, he will be solidly through to the semi-final as well. Bewley in third, and Helmland always looked like a tough call for him in that heat 18, and he will miss out. Drabik there finishing on a 15-point maximum.
Yeah, all you Brits were hoping that he was going to be the spoiler. That's Dan Bewley on the inside to be able to take the first points away from Drabik in this second round of the Under-21 World Championships. He's only dropped 1 point so far in this series, and he wasn't going to let that 15-point max get away from him in this race here. Under a bit of pressure from this guy right here, Kubera comes from the outside, thought he had an opportunity to turn back in the first corner, see if he can get underneath Drabik, but he just couldn't keep the same pace as Drabik down that back straightaway, and neither could Bewley coming up the inside in the red there. So a bit of pressure on Drabik, but not enough to steal any points off him.
How Helmland stayed on his bike there on the fourth bend, I'm really not sure, but thankfully he did. And so he will be out of the meeting now with 5 points to his name. Heat 19, Jakobsen with 4 off the inside as Drabik makes his way back into the pits. Job done so far, 15 out of 15 for him. Jakobsen then in red, Lambert with 10 in blue, Kling with 8 in white, and Smektala with 10 in yellow. And Kling on 8, I think should just about be okay unless Kaczmarek wins heat Heat 20. Kling would be okay, I think, with 8 points, but we'll still like to add a couple more here. But certainly Lambert and Smektala, blue and yellow, could be another big battle.
I don't think you can really call a race winner in this one. I know who you'd probably want to win, but Smektala is in a really good position being on that outside gate. They have all that dirt line, and Jakobsen on the inside. He'll probably most likely want to stay down low, but Robert Lambert's he's got a couple of options here. He's got to think real hard. He'll probably just let his natural instincts play its part. Once he dumps that clutch, which will be the first part to get out in front. But same with Jakobsen on that inside. I think he'll want to stir them all up. So a big race here from Smektala to be able to pull it off. Whether the Swede Kling can actually do anything from 3, well, you have to see as well.
Lambert in blue, Smektala in yellow, heat 19, and he gets underway. And Lambert in blue does make a good start, and now he'll go wide to try and block off the run of Smektala. He'll have to keep it around the outside, and he does so. Lambert leads, but here goes Smektala back on the inside. Brilliant ride by Lambert to control everything. Smektala makes a mistake. He still maintains control. He's back to third. Jakobsen goes through into second place. Big trying to come through on the inside, and Lambert's regaining ground and regaining speed, and back in third place here.
How many times was people trying to sneak in front here? Lambert got all in big shape, out of shape on that one. Smektala's out in front right now, holding control of the race. Got it came from the inside. Jakobsen doing a good job to fin off Lambert. Lambert's still going to have a chance. Now he's going the high line now. Can he do it?
Lambert with speed around the outside on turns 3 and 4. Now he'll turn back as Jakobsen moves out, and Lambert moves back through into second place. He's regained the air, but now coming back is Jakobsen, and Jakobsen backing on Lambert, who goes back round him on turns 1 and 2. Smektala out in front. Lambert's done well to retrieve a difficult situation there and still take 2 points out of it. Smektala wins it. Heat number 19, spectacular race. Smektala over Lambert with Jakobsen third and Kling out the back. Well, Lambert so nearly got himself in control there before getting out of control on the top turns, and then he had to fight hard to regain third and then second and still take good points out of Heat 19. Smektala wins it, Lambert second, Jakobsen third.
Well, was Heat 19 the best race of the night? Well, at least for the big points, they were all chasing it for sure. Superb start from Lambert. Get out in front in the blue helmet. Goes right up the dirt, shuts the door on Smektala. Smektala does a nice turn back. Nobody got in his way when he made that turn back, so he had full speed getting into turns 3. There's the mistake that Lambert made. That pulled him offline. Now he's just trying to hold on to his third place at that point. But I can tell you, Smektala was on a mission from that outside gate. He knew all of his options. He's already checked out right now. Lambert's got to hold on to the fact that he's got to get back into second place. So he's up in the high line right now, trying to work it right there. Jakobsen's on the inside. And I would say the Danes a lot of times are really specialists on the inside track line. But right there, Robert Lambert knew that he had to work hard to get in that second place. There's no chance of him catching up with Smektala, but a second place will be very handy for him. But he didn't have it all his own way. Really hold on to the bike. The bike was throwing him around. What little bit of dirt's out there is really pulling the riders. You got to be on top of your game.
Smektala on 13 is now second in the meeting. Dravik on 15, Smektala on 13, Lambert on 12, Bewley 11, Kibera 11, Lampart with 8, and Lampart will be through to the semis. He's currently in 6th place and ahead of both Kling and Hansen on countback. Heat 20, Nick Scoria has 3, Daniel Kaczmarek has 5 and must get a win here to have any chance of going through. Andreas Bleaga, though, in white, he has 7, and he potentially will get through with a 3rd place here in this race, and Robert Schimmel off the outside with 2. So Bleaga with 7 there in white should be able to clear at least Hansen with a 3rd place in Heat 20. And Kaczmarek in blue, that man there, really it has to be a win for him to have any chance at all of going through.
No.
Kling and Hansen are the two back in the pits who are sweating here.
It's all going to unfold now. Heat 20 coming to the start line. Track in really good condition still.
Yeah, we've seen some good races, and we're going to see what particularly the riders in blue and white do here in Heat 20. They're the two trying to go through. It's a good start by Kaczmarek in blue off the gate number 2, turning back is Nick Scoria on the inside in red. Scoria has the advantage. That's going to get tight there on the bend. Really, Kaczmarek left absolutely nothing by Andreas Bleaga. Stayed on the bike, and the race will continue as Andreas Bleaga goes back around the outside, trying to pass Nick Scoria into the second lap, and he does so. And that's very unlucky indeed for Kaczmarek, who is making signals to the referee as he goes over the start-finish line. Battling out front still with Nick Scoria and Andreas Bleaga. Bleaga will race lead. Controversial stuff there, Sam, because I think it's Kaczmarek who goes down. Bleaga may be disputed.
Yeah, you don't ever turn the throttle off. You know, you got to take the highs and the lows sometime. Anything can happen in this race. So it was unfortunately for Kaczmarek to give the race up so early, but he was definitely shortchanged in that one right there by the leader of this one. Lagara was up. He's really fighting for those points coming from that gate number 3. He got himself out of shape a little bit, and that's the cost of Kaczmarek.
Well, he's had to work hard to get the better of Nick Scoyer. He's done so, and that win will take him into the semi-final. A win for Andreas Leaga, second place Nick Scoyer, third Robert Schimmel. Very frustrating indeed for Kaczmarek. We'll see it again on the replay in just a moment. He was left nothing on the back straight when Leaga went across the track in front of him when he lifted. As I say, I think if Kaczmarek had gone down, we could have seen a refereeing decision to be made there, which could have altered things. Leaga, as things stand, moves into the top 8 on 10 points. It means that Lampard, who was already through, and Kling stays in, and Patrick Hansen will miss out on countback to Lampard and Kling. Leaga wins heat 20, Scoyer second, Schimmel third.
Yeah, very eventful heat 20, the last heat race of this evening's to get into the semifinals, and there was some big points to be made right here. Andreas Leaga was really fighting for whatever he could get in the white helmet color, gets himself in bad shape right there, and the consequence of that is Kaczmarek he's done now, isn't he? He can't do nothing more.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunate for him, but the race still went on. They had to battle it. It was Scoyer trying to get himself...
Is that unfair? Because he's Kaczmarek, what can he do there?
Yeah, there's really nothing. It was definitely, it was infringed right there. If he would have went down, absolutely right. If he just would have put the bike down right there, the referee would have had to make a decision on the result.
This is the discussion we were actually having before the meeting about when a rider doesn't go down. It can still be unfair riding.
You know, all these guys are good motorcyclists. Last thing they want to do is hit the deck, so they'll hold on to it as long as they possibly can do. But when you're infringed at this extreme, there's nothing else to do but to let the, turn the throttle off and get out of the situation. And unfortunately, nobody went down on the racetrack. There was no stoppage of the racetrack, of the race itself. And the consequences are this is the way it finishes.
I'm not saying for one moment that Leaga was unfair deliberately. It was the fact that he picked up off the second bend. It was just one of those things. But it definitely ended Kaczmarek's race and his hopes of making the top 8 as well.
Yep, for sure. That's racing.
Yeah.
At the worst time.
Very harsh. Yeah. But Leaga will move on. That's his second win, and he's on 10 points. So in the end, it's mission accomplished for him.
He'll be feeling that. He's done that as well. But he's got to focus on the fact where he's at in the race meter right now. So he's in the top 8.
So we have Drabik on 15, Smektala 13, Lambert 12, Bewley and Kubera 11 each, Leaga 10, Lampard and Kling both on 8, and then Hansen 8 missing out, and then quite a gap to the riders on 5 points who are also outside the top 8. And Drabik currently leads the series by 5 points over Smektala, 35-30, with Lambert on 29, Kubera 23, and Bewley in 5th place overall on 18. That's how it looks, and it looks like the semi-finals should feature Drabik, Bewley, Leaga and Lampard in semi-final 1, Smektala, Lambert, Kubera and Kling in semi-final 2. That's the way things are looking at this stage. We'll await confirmation from the referee. We'll be seeing the picks for the semi-finals as well very shortly. And we are left wondering if anyone. We've seen quite a lot of, especially second half of the meeting, a lot of fast action, good place changing and so on, but no one's had an answer to Maxim Drabik.
Yeah, well,
can they find something now?
Combination, doesn't he? I gave him a bit of a title as the king of Leszno, and he didn't let me down so far. He's winning everything, isn't he? But he's still got to finish it off by getting through the semifinal and attacking the final as well. Everybody would have had a bit of chance right now to rethink a little bit. The track's being groomed as we're talking. I don't think I'll bring much changes to it. No water's coming out of the racetrack at the moment that we can see.
No sign of it. The tractors and the water cart they come from an opening on the back straight here. For those of you that know Leszno, there's a tunnel on the back straight, and that's where all the equipment is housed. And currently we have 2 tractors going around, but no water. So we're awaiting the picks for the semi-final. A reminder, part of it's in the Czech Republic at the end of September for the 3rd and final round. Once again, that's the Friday of their special weekend in Prague. It's always in part of it, I should say. It's 3 days there with the Czech Golden Helmet Festival, and then they actually go back to Prague for a meeting normally on the Monday as well. So it's a big weekend in Czechia.
Yeah, now try to take advantage of having some fun in Prague while we're there, hey?
Sounds good. There's how it does shake out. Then Drabic on 15, Smektala 13, Lambert 12, Bewley and Kubera 11 apiece, Larga 10, and Lampard and Kling are the final two semi-finalists on 8. Countback doing for Hansen there after the 20 races. Lampard with the 2 race wins, he has 7th place, and then Kling had 2 second places, whereas Hansen had a win, a second and 3 thirds. So that's why Hansen has missed out on the top 8. Funny enough, Hansen made the top 8 on 7 points in Daugavpils and misses the top 8 on 8 points here in Leszno. That's the way it goes.
Every point counts, doesn't it? And you just can't give up any points at all, really.
Yeah, and for these guys now, they get not only the chance to win the meeting, but also 2 more rides, a maximum of 2 more rides, there's 6 more points up for grabs for their series totals.
Yes. So, well noted on that one. Every race counts in this series, and there's running out of time if they're going to catch Maxime.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, good day's work for him, and he hasn't been able to make a mistake. You can't say that the likes of Smektala and Lambert have ridden badly. No, they've not thrown in a round where they've scored 3 or 4 points. They've been right up there in double figures, but when there's one guy that wins almost every race he rides in, you can't make too much ground.
No, the weather's been really nice.
Yep.
The event is cooling down as we speak. The wind has slowed down just a little bit. They've not had much difficulties making the track good for everybody. Ready for the picks.
Here we go.
Now.
So that's semi-final 1. Bewley off the inside, Larga gate 2, Drabic picking gate 3, and Lampard picking the... Oh,
you can't believe they're out there racing those bikes. Look how young they all look. I mean, those guys are battling it. Look at them, man. They're just kids.
Under 21 World Championship.
That's it. How exciting
and
is
they
that?
take it so seriously as well, and quite rightly so. It's a big championship, and you have to be very professional at an early age. There's confirmation of the lineup. We'll talk about that gate choice in a minute, particularly with Maxime Drabic going off gate 3. But let's see if the second semi-final follows a similar pattern, where Smektala has the first pick, Lambert has second pick, and then Kubera and Joel Kling will take the remaining 2 places. So that's semi-final 2. Smektala, Lambert, Kubera and Kling going gates 1 to 4 in pick order. So interestingly, that's Drabic going for gate 3 after dabbling with gate 1 very briefly, but Drabic going for gate 3 and Smektala with first choice second semi-final going for gate 1.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, but I just think that Maxime Drabic is riding with a lot of confidence. He had success on all the gates. Your options coming from gate 3 could be a little bit more convenient, depending on you still got to make the start to give you that conveniency, I would say. We weren't even seeing the water truck out for the early part of the grading, but the water truck is not out. It's done quite a few laps, actually. So whether or not Maxime's actually took that in consideration, that he's going to be coming out of gate 3, and that's kind of right where the riders are racing around the racetrack. He's going to have to cross over the slickest part of the straightaway, let's say, going into the first corner when he's coming out of his gate. There's some options now for some of the other guys to be thinking about, but you're right, the difference between semifinal 1 and semifinal 2, the order is much different on the picks. I would say that, I was surprised that Lambert didn't pick gate 3 off the back that Drabic picking gate 3 in the first choice of semifinal 1. Robert Lambert had that opportunity and that gate was available because gate 1 was already gone on his pick in semifinal 2 and chose gate 2. So they all have their reasons for what they're doing, and we as spectators will watch and see if it worked out for them, that's for sure. It's a groom track. These riders are now going to face, I'd say Semi 2 will probably have a bit more of an advantage than Semi 1, but you got the best rider tonight and leading the series coming in heat 1, coming out of gate 3.
They did water the track for a couple of laps. I have to say that Bewley surely will be A, surprised, but B, delighted to have been left with gate 1. We've seen him do well off that before. And I think he probably would have expected to find himself somewhere more outside. But
I have a bit of a hunch, I think he'll be thinking that, the easiest way around the racetrack is going to be the inside gate.
He'll pin it, surely, like he did against Matar.
Everybody thinks that too, so he might be of that level of his thinking, God, this is a gift being on the inside. The way the track races, he knows how the changing of the track is. You got to reach the outside, but this is the beginning of a freshly groomed racetrack. That inside gate could be a gift. Maxime Drabic, it could all go pear-shaped for him. Liaga, that's coming from gate number 2, will be knowing that, his last brutal race that he put himself into got him in gate 2, which is not a bad place. And Lampard from the outside. I think all 4 of these guys are probably thinking they got a good gate.
Well, let's see what they can make of it.
Well, that's kind of the way the meeting's gone. All the gates have been performing well.
Yeah, well, we look at it. 7 wins from gate 1, 3 from gate 2, 5 and 5 from 3 and 4, and the point spreads are quite equal as well.
So it's anybody's race. Just the dominant person in this one that's not won is this guy right here with number 1 on his back.
Maxime Drabic is the dominant person, has been. Neil Batcher looking on in the pits, hoping to see Dan Bewley into the final. He'd love to see 2 British riders in the final. He'd love to see Bewley come through here and Lambert going through the second semi-final. But there are some good riders to beat to do that. And here we go with the first semi-final. 2 for the final, then Bewley inside. Liaga gate 2, Drabic gate 3, Lampard off the outside. First semi-final in Leszno gets underway. Bewley makes a good one, and Drabic makes a good one. Drabic gets the bend in front in white, Bewley in second. Here comes Lampard in yellow around the outside. Bewley though has speed to coming off, but Bewley makes it through into second. And Liaga and Lampard almost tackle on the top turn, but they're third and fourth, and Bewley is chasing Drabic here. Drabic leads from Bewley. It's Lampard overcoming into third place now, trying to get back on the inside, but Bewley has the speed, and Bewley back round Lampard.
Bewley, don't give up that gift in gate 1. You got that position for second. You got to work really hard. Lampard will want to change that though. He's working now. He's up the inside, holding it tight. Bewley's just went offline. He's not outside or inside.
Yeah, Bewley's not too far behind Drabic, which I think is almost a problem because he doesn't quite know where to ride. And Lampard has got speed as he moves down the inside, but Bewley still maintains that second place for now. Drabic out in front of Bewley. Bewley holding mid-track on bends 1 and 2. Decent ride, pulls it clear of Lampard down the back straight, and Drabic looks like getting his 6th win, but Bewley in second place. It's Drabic to win the semi, and it's Bewley into the final as well. Drabic over Bewley with Lampard in third, and Liaga out the back, and it's Maxime Drabic making it 6th of the best, 18 points out of 18 for him, and it's Britain's Dan Bewley in the final here in Leszno as well. Robert Lambert to come in the second semi-final for Great Britain. Maxime Drabic for Poland has 18 points out of 18 tonight, and Bewley also in the final.
I can't wait for some of the Americans to get to this thing so I can be as excited as you are right now. Dan Bewley pulls it off. Gifted out of inside gate, second choice in the semi-final, number 1. But the guy that's dominated in the white helmet color right there, that's Maxime Drabic. He's a Polish rider. He got out front, really a very, very good start. Went out, claimed his position straight away. Then Dan Bewley had to work out whether he wanted to be on the inside or the outside. Coming from that inside gate, he goes up and kisses a little bit of the berm up against the fence by the time he got into turn 3. Put him in position, but here's an excellent start from Maxime Drabic. the current under-21 world champion, is trying to defend his title. He's only dropped 1 point through the series so far, and he made no mistakes in the semifinal. He knew where the dirt was, up in the high line right now. On the very, very inside, though, that's Victor Lampard trying to work that inside to see if he can do it, which puzzled, I would say, for just a slight second, Bewley, whether he should be on the inside or the outside. But there we're looking at the world champion. Can he defend it? He's got one more round after this one, but doing a good job so far this evening.
Drabik into the final, Bewley into the final, second semi-final, and both of the home riders in this one, Smektala in red and Kubera in white, Lambert in blue, and Joel Kling in yellow. Once again, very closely matched on paper, Sam, and be interesting from the gate how things shake out. Smektala inside, Lambert gate 2, Kubera gate 3, Kling outside.
And the track is a racer's track right now. There's no sign of any water on it from the sprinklers of the water truck that did its rounds before the last the race we just seen, the first semifinal. Semifinal 2, can a Brit join the final? His compatriot Dan Bewley. We already know Maxime Drabik's in there, Bewley's in there. This is going to be a tough one. Smektala on the inside, could steal it all.
Well, the home crowd desperate to see Smektala and Kubera go through. Kubera's been really consistent. He's never finished below second in a race so far tonight. He's in white, Smektala there in red, Lambert in blue, and Joel Kling in yellow. Second semi-final in Leszno gets underway. Smektala's made the game, Lambert's not made the game. Smektala has the advantage. Lambert holding it really tight on turn 1 2. Kubera going round the outside of everyone here, and Kubera almost gets round. And on the inside goes Kling, putting Lambert to the back. Lambert wanting to do something spectacular here. He turns back off turn 4. Big race on outfoot, and Kubera takes one down the inside. And Smektala, they're battling away. Can it bring Lambert and Kling back in contention as Kubera lifts?
Oh, he's got a lot of work he does. Look at Robert Lambert on the top line. He's just lost a lot of ground on that attempt right there. Still able to lead the ball.
Lambert's got down Kling. Lambert's now trying to go inside Kubera. Kubera, oh my God! Lambert's going second here. Smektala leads. It's Lambert in second. Lambert going past Kubera. He'll try and turn back on me. Last 3 inside Kubera with the crowd cheering him on. It's a sensational race being led by Bartosz Smektala. Kubera's come through for second. Lambert's going to give him one last pass around the outside on turn 3 and 4. It's a win for Smektala, and it's second for Kubera. It's celebrations in Leszno as Lambert goes out. Kling at the back. What a race the second semi-final was. That was the race of the night so far, and Smektala and Kubera go through, and Lambert so nearly pulled it off there. Just got done once again by Kubera, who came back through, and that was another fantastic race here in Leszno, as Smektala and Kubera go through to the final.
How tight was that? I tell you,
great skill,
unbelievable, absolutely. Joel Kling on the outside in the yellow. Didn't have nothing to do with this race until it got to the end. But from the start of it, Smektala from the inside makes a start, gets going right there. Robert Lambert's got to hustle for something. He's in last place going into turn 3. He's up the inside right there. But I'd say Dominic Kubera was making the best move. He came out of gate 3. He went into that corner right there, sacrificed the fact that he didn't make the start, but he got his wheels in line down that back straightaway and built so much speed and tried to dominate it, but then the race really started to come unfolded here. We can see right there Robert Lambert is trying to see if he can hold on to that second place. That's what's going to put him into the final. He's lying right now in third. He's not. He's in second. No, he's not. He's in last. No, he's not. He's got back in second. He's saying, I can do it. I can do it. But Kubera there on the eye line there gets the wheels in line for the last time and just built so much speed going into this corner. And he just wrapped up the GB rider. No problem at all from his view. But he was chasing down Smektala that came from that inside gate. He's checked out right now in front. But the 2 favorite riders from the polls, and we heard the polls screaming during that semifinal number 2, and their riders pulled it off.
Brilliant race, absolutely fantastic race, and that now means that the final will be contested by 3 Polish riders and 1 British rider. Drabik, Smektala, Bewley and Kubera is the lineup for the final here in Leszno. That promises to be quite a race, and in the series overall, it's undoubtedly a big blow for Robert Lambert, because he now finds himself 8 points behind Drabik in the standings, and Drabik has one more ride to come tonight. So really, if Drabik goes on and wins it or scores big points, Lambert's going to need miracles in Pardubice to win the series. That's the effect of tonight's mega scoring by Drabik, and any third or last place there, which Lambert has just suffered, unfortunately for him. So Drabik can put himself very firmly in control of the series. If he wins the final, he will be at least 6 points in front, heading to the Czech Republic in a couple of months' time. And it's certainly a case that we saw the battle last year involving Drabik and Smektala, and as far as I'm aware, these big three will all have next year as well. So and of course Bewley's even younger. So the future is bright for spectacular racing.
Excellent. That's what I want to hear. Thank you for answering that question. You read my mind on that one. Yeah, unbelievable racing tonight here. I'm just so impressed with the skills of these guys. Future's bright for them all. I already mentioned the fact that Touch on the Back America needs to step up their game to get over here and start getting involved with this under 21. Grand final pick coming up.
Następnie Bartek Smektała. Który kask dla ciebie?
Czerwony kask.
Pierwsze pole. Dan Bewley. Which gate you choose?
Gate 2.
I na koniec Dominik Kubera, pole numer 4.
Maxim Drabik is happy with gate 3. He's happy with any gate tonight, to be honest, the way he's been trapping. So he's off the gate 3 with Smektala taking the inside. I wonder what he's listening to. Dan Bewley taking gate 2 and Dominic Kibera going off the outside. Glorious evening, glorious day. Fantastic speedway weather. Has been absolutely perfect, and we've had a good event here, Sam, and one race to come to see if Drabik can seal the deal, can seal the 21, which would be quite some feat, and we will see if he can manage it. But Smektala in red, the nearest challenger in the series. Bewley has been sensational, and Kibera has been very consistent and really got stuck in that semi-final as well. So it's a great racing prospect.
You know, this just add the whole package together and put them on a good racetrack. And Leszno's track definitely performed very well. Gave these guys many opportunities on the racetrack, and we've seen some tremendous racing. And I really thought, and I think you probably can concur with the fact that we both thought there was going to be a big spread in the racing, didn't we? We thought this track was going to give the riders with the power, the horsepower, maybe the skill, that's maybe the experience on the racetrack, so that we're going to see lots of big gaps, but we haven't seen that.
I've been impressed. A lot of the, what you would call, with no disrespect, the lesser riders or the less experienced riders have actually ridden quite smart and put themselves in the mix on the first bend with some decent moves. It has forced, with the exception of Drabik, who has won most of his races from the front, but the likes of Smektala and Lambert have really had to work for their points, and Kibera as well. Bewley going so well has been a massive plus for the meeting, and it's been a good event all round.
I just hope that, you know, I was able to portray some of the options that these riders have on the racetrack like
this. Well, they tried every option there in that semi-final.
So. And you can see what I mean. This racetrack, what it brings to a rider that wants to race is options. The starts have been pretty equal throughout the whole evening. The track's it's long enough straightaways. It's got enough bank in the corners. It gives the riders plenty of opportunities. And when you give a racer a good racetrack, we've witnessed what that combination is. A good racetrack, good riders that are willing to go out there and throw the bike into the positions that sometimes you never thought they could come out of, especially with these guys inexperienced, I would say, or young riders. They did a superb job.
Yeah, we've seen a total lack of incidents in terms of clashes and crashes. Fingers crossed, touch these four go at it in the final. But yeah, it does amaze me that the inexperience, the youth involved, quite a few of these are teenagers, and yet the control and the skill they've got is quite remarkable. And it makes you think that at this level, the sport's in safe hands with the next generation.
First time I raced in this track back in the 90s, I thought it was the best track in the world. You know,
really?
Because it just brought everything that a rider wants the confidence to be able to ride any line and fear no rider. So fair play to these guys who go out there and put on the performance they have.
So here we go with the final in Leszno. Bartosz Smektala in red off the inside. Dan Bewley in blue off gate 2. Maxim Drabik in white off gate 3. And Dominik Kubera goes in yellow off the outside. 3 poles and 1 British rider. That man in white, the reigning champion, Maxim Drabik, and set to extend his lead in the series as well this evening. It's been a perfect day for him so far. Perfect score of 18. Can he turn 18 into 21?
I like the idea of Camberas on that outside too. He's the one that's making nice big switchbacks in the first corner and stirs it up by the time they get down that back straightaway and flying into turn 3. Drabik's got a big challenge on his shoulders, I would say, coming from 3 this time. Smektala will be one to do it off that inside gate. So there's plenty of opportunities here for all 4 riders. Can the dominant still dominate? Let's find out.
The grand final in Leszno. Smektala inside, Bewley gate 2, Drabik gate 3, Kubera off outside. Who will be on top here in Leszno? The home crowd have got 2 riders to cheer on. The way they go. Smektala makes a great start from the inside, and he gets there in front of Maxim Drabik. Bartosz Smektala with the lead. Kubera turning back, and Kubera trying to block out Drabik. Drabik with enormous speed into best 3 and 4. Smektala still race lead. They will take Drabik wide. Drabik squeezing around the outside. And Smektala boxes completely. Smektala has the advantage. Kubera going through into second. Drabik turns inside. Bartosz Smektala leads.
Like I said, big risk right there from Drabik, and it's not going his way. Just getting past one more time by Kubera.
Kubera and Drabik having a real ding on for second and third. Kubera back inside Drabik. Drabik back inside for second place. Smektala was brutal on Drabik at the end of lap 1. He had to be through World Championship race again. And now Kubera, he's coming down. Takes it down surely. And Bartosz Smektala goes over the start-finish line and contact again. But Kubera and Drabik down off bend 4. And I would think Kubera will go there. I would think Kubera will go. We'll see if the race gets rerun or not. But it does end in a tangle up on turn 4.
You had to go and throw that in there, didn't you, before the start of this race?
Well, let's hope that Maxim's going to be okay up on the 4th turn. He's been absolutely fantastic. He was put into a racing situation, and here's what happened.
Come on, let's walk through this one together. Smektala's out in front right here, but we can see right there, Drabik turns back, and now he's up on the high line. And we can see right there, Kubera comes flying underneath him right there to take his line away from him. There's nowhere for Drabik to go. He's trying to slow the bike down and runs up the back end of him. There's nowhere for him to go, and that's a tough one. Very tough one.
Well, we are waiting confirmation on a decision from the referee, but this angle may begin to tell the tale.
Took his line away from him, but when the race is in front, what do you do? We've seen this scenario before where the rider in white would be excluded for not turning the throttle off.
Well, yeah, yellow is out. Kubera has been excluded. And it's again, yeah, those of us who haven't ridden the bike, we make this expression, we say the throttle, when Drabik's up at the drop and walking away, we say the throttle works both ways. So could Drabik there have turned the throttle off?
Well,
is it possible?
You go faster when you turn the throttle off because the back wheels catches up and you start going faster, believe it or not, because the whole time you're broadsliding the bike, the back wheel's spinning all the way through the corners, and as soon as you roll it off, the back wheel catches traction or one-to-one with the racetrack or the speed you're going and goes faster. And in this case, rolling the throttle off will probably be more dangerous than not. And the consequences of that one right there is, I would say that Kubera was the one that definitely chopped off Drabik's race line, and the referee seen it from the same angles we seen it. And Drabik had nowhere to go but on the ground. I think he did a good job of holding on to that thing, because if that bike would have reared and put more pressure on the back end of the bike, normally the time the bike launches up in the air and does some funky stuff. It still did that, but I think it was well controlled.
Well, the race is going to be rerun.
Okay.
The race is going to be rerun. Which
championships these days now? Championships got to see a checker flag, doesn't it?
He could have awarded that.
Could he?
He could have awarded that. Yeah. The leader was on the last lap. That was an incident off the 4th bend of lap 3. So he could have awarded that, and I think Smektala will feel that he should have awarded that because Smektala was so far in front. There was definitely a case there for awarding that race. Smektala, Drabik, Bewley as a top three, and it will give now Drabik a second shot.
And guess who else it gives a second chance to?
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Dan Bewley, yes.
And you know, it could go into the race, into the pits right now, and make some changes to the bike too. It could help him even better. I've said before we got into that heat, as we built up it, Maxime Drabik, the current world champion, had first pick, and he took gate 3, and I thought that was vulnerable myself.
Against Smektala nailed the start superbly.
Absolutely, and I think you might have seen me kind of clinch a little bit whenever I seen Bewley didn't take outside gate in that pick, because he had Dan Bewley had the choice to take on the outside gate, and I think that would put him in a better position if he would have done that myself.
Well, they'll be going again without Dominic Kubera excluded. It was quite a tussle between him and Drabik throughout that final for second place, and the home crowd were urging Kubera on to try and make it a 1-2. But now it may not even be a 1, because Drabik gets to go again and Bewley gets to go again against Smektala, who made such a fabulous start from the inside. And that must be the race's ultimate frustration. He is on the last lap there with the red lights come on. He's got no idea what's happening behind him, and the red lights come on, and we've got to go again.
Championship on the line, and an opportunity to take points away from the championship leader. Second chance is going to even be harder to do that.
All about concentration though, isn't it?
Yeah, and well, you know, the other thing too to note, the fact that mechanical side, if Maxime Drabik's bike was damaged and he has to switch to a fresh bike that he's not ridden the racetrack yet on, and hope that he gets the setup right, all these things could be going on in the pits that we're not really seeing. There is Drabik coming out right now to the, walking through the pits.
Yeah, 2 minutes just gone on.
Yep.
2 minutes for the remaining 3 riders, who will be our 3 podium finishers. So Dan Bewley will be on the rostrum here in Leszno for Great Britain.
Wasn't that a good heat though? Final, wasn't it, going for it?
It was certainly no quarter asked or given, shall we say. It was, yeah, some of the racing towards the end of the meeting has been outstanding, and now the crowd trying to get behind Smektala again, and they thought they had it won first time, but here's Drabik now. Look at that bike. Do we think it's the same bike, or?
Compared to looking at that one right there, I would say, well, he's won every race, so he's not really got.
Yeah, he's a clean bike.
He did have a clean bike. He's not had any dirt. Roosted up on him. But the bike did go down the ground, so it's possible. He's just adjusting that lever. So I think that's one that he probably was on the ground with.
Okay.
So he is playing around with yeah, it looks like the same bike looking from here.
Okay, so Drabik coming back into gate 3, Bewley off gate 2, and Smektala off the inside. We try again with the grand final here in Leszno, and Drabik just off the bike, do a bit of gardening, but want to make a better start. Smektala made the start of his start of his season there in the first staging of it, and the pressure on him to do it all over again.
And he did the right thing in the first corner too, so he read the conditions perfectly in that first attempt of this final here tonight. Whether he can repeat that.
Well, if Smektala makes the start this time, then Drabik has only got Bewley to worry about, whereas that time he was preoccupied with Kubera.
Yeah, Kubera was up the inside. Yeah, absolutely. Here's the race, though. Let's get it on.
So 3 left for the restaging, the rerun of the final here in Leszno. Smektala inside, Bewley gate 2, Drabik gate 3. They go away and again Smektala makes a good one, but Drabik also makes quite a fast one too. Bewley in blue is missing out on the first bend. Smektala leads, but here comes Drabik round the outside, and Smektala will need to cover Drabik on turn 3 and 4. Smektala leads, Drabik turns back on the 4th bend, tries to come through on the inside, and does. Maxime Drabik gets through inside, Bartosz Smektala. Smektala will try again now off the 2nd bend. Drabik leads from Smektala. Drabik is taking a second chance.
It sure is. It's all about picking the right line right now. They're up to full speed. There's no doubt about it. Drabik looked like he's controlling at this stage. Smektala did everything he possibly could to. Threw it all at him, but he's run out of laps now.
You have to be very sorry indeed for Bartosz Smektala, who had the race in the bag when it was stopped for a crash behind him. But that Speedway, Maxime Drabik leads onto his last lap, and he did do it from the back. And it was the case that there was more space to work with without Kubera involved. It's going to be Dan Bewley in 3rd place. place for Great Britain. A Polish 1-2 on the way, and Maxim Drabik leads Bartosz Smektala into the final bend, holds the inside line, takes the checkered flag. Maxim Drabik wins in Leszno. He wins 7 out of 7 for a full 21-point score, just as he managed in Poznan last year. It's Drabik over Smektala. Smektala, frustrated, was leading when the race was stopped first time on his last lap, but the race was rerun, and Maxim Drabik turned back inside Bartosz Smektala off the fourth bend, end of lap 1, and the defending champion scored 20 points in Daugavpils and has now scored 21 in Leszno, has only dropped 1 point in 2 meetings. He is the standout favourite to defend the title this season. Purely a superb third for Great Britain. Smektala second, Drabik in front once again.
That's all she wrote, folks. Just got to do it the hard way sometimes. And Smektala was hoping that that was all going to go his own way when he was leading the first attempt of this one. But the series leader and the current defending world champion, Maxim Drabik, pulls it off on the second attempt. You can't take any credit away from this guy. He rode superbly all evening long, and the race wasn't over when he had this bit of coming together, but he was definitely not in front.
Well, Smektala going over the start-finish line during the Wiggers, getting a great hand from the crowd who were really hoping to see a home victory here, and they were so close to having it, but here's how Drabik won it.
Yeah, the second attempt of this final. Less one rider, Smektala on the inside, Bewley in blue, racing for that first corner, but Maxim Drabik on the outside in the white has his wheels. This is where it got a little bit tight. He's just going in the corner here. What's he going to do? He decides to make a nice cutback because Smektala had to go up and kiss the dirt, and that was just enough room for Drabik to get underneath Smektala. By the time they got around this first lap, this is the first corner. Everybody's chasing the lines right there. One's right on the inside. That's Smektala in the red, holding it really tight, and he had plenty of speed down the back straightaway as Drabik was building his momentum. But as soon as Drabik went into that first turn 3 of the first lap, he had plenty of momentum to clinch it, cut back, and lead it from then on.
Drabik will go to the Czech Republic in late September, the 29th September, with a 6-point lead over Smektala in the overall series. And of course, if it had been the other way around tonight in that final, that lead would have been 4. But there's how they've sorted themselves out tonight. Drabik, the full 21. Smektala has been excellent with 18, but can't quite get the better of Drabik in that rerun final. Bewley 14. And Kibera 13, they were the 4 finalists. Lambert also scored 13, despite going out in the semi, and double figures 2 for Andreas Leaga this evening. As I say, Drabik now 6 points in front of Smektala in the series, and Lambert currently in 3rd place. Drabik 41, Smektala 35, Lambert 30 is the way the series stands going into the final round. Bewley in 5th place on 21, Kibera on 25 in between. So Bewley well placed for a top 5 in his first series. Part of it so will be a different challenge altogether. That produced some good racing last year as well. Riders now on the centre green, ahead of the presentations.
Yeah, Maxim Drabik being interviewed there, talking in Polish. And I think he's extremely happy with this result. He's probably mentioning the fact that, you know, you get a second attempt and sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. And this time it has gone my way, and that's the racer's luck. Or the commentator's curse that even happened in the first place.
There wouldn't be any crashes. But,
yeah.
But they were really going for it, and yeah, interesting call by the referee. As we've said, in the old days in FIM events, the race was never awarded. Out to say checkered flag. Yeah. There is the option now. Some referees take it, some don't, and clearly tonight didn't.
Well, it's good that we had a second attempt and seen another race out of it, I guess, to see the final concluded.
It's certainly been a good race meeting. Certainly been a track that's enabled them to race, and we've seen plenty of it. It's been enjoyable from that point of view, and for British fans seeing Dan Bewley on the podium on on a big European track. Another big tick in the right boxes for him for his future development. Because for so many years, British riders have really struggled coming to places like this. They've finished way down the order. This is the World Under-21 Championship. He's finished third in this round.
Absolutely a great accomplishment from the young lad. And going to the last round in Pardubice, that's another challenge because that's a big kind of flattish racetrack. And you really need to have the setups quite good there and be really good with the old trapping glove on to get all that start. But well-deserved position here in third place. Thought he did really good. Unfortunately, his buddy from Great Britain, Lambert, didn't really get into the final, which he needed to kind of put a big threat on. He's had a sensational season, hasn't he? So to not get through this one will be a bit disappointing. It was a bad weekend.
It was Kibera who was the threat. I mean, Kibera did him in the semi-final, and then of course he was involved in the final as well.
Yeah,
so,
there you go.
Just shows that there is a depth in this field too, beyond the established, the three that we were expecting to be at the top. There's others that can certainly get stuck in, and Kibera and Bewley have proved just that. So, and Liaga too this evening. So, Dan Bewley on the podium here in Leszno.
He's only a little guy too.
Yeah.
I did when he was wearing shorts walking the racetrack here, and I'm thinking, that's him. He's only a little guy. Fair play.
He may be only a little guy, but he's certainly going to be a big rider.
These motorbikes aren't very easy. The current Speedway bikes aren't very easy to hold on to when you're in full power and you got some dirt on the racetrack. He does a really good job of doing that anyway.
There's Smetala getting his trophy for second, and he must feel in his mind it could and probably should have been the win tonight on his home track, but he does manage to smile just about, Bartosz, and he will be in second place. But they've all been chasing Maxim Drabik for the last couple of years in this series, and so far Drabik has had all the answers, and it will be another round victory. He won at Poznan last year, he won at Pardubice. He's now won both of this season's first two. Took him to the last bend in Daugavpils, to be fair. This time he did it on the end of the first lap of the rerun. But Maxim Drabik, the winner here in Leszno, and we'll be hearing the anthem very shortly once he gets his trophy presentation. So a rostrum smile we've become accustomed to seeing several times over the last couple of years. So your top three, Bewley, Smetala and Drabik. There's the winner.
So 3 years ago he was laid up, wasn't he? With
had a big broken leg in Sweden, and it wrecked his season. But to be fair, he's come back superbly and shown that an injury at that stage of your career does not destroy your career. And he's a winner once again.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be outstanding for the national anthem of Poland.
Dziękuję Państwu bardzo.
Polish national anthem and Maxim Drabik on top of the box here in Leszno, alongside Bartosz Smetala and Dan Bewley. So the champagne celebration is about to take place. Pardubice is the final round on September the 29th, as the champagne is uncorked and the celebrations begin for the top three here in Leszno this evening. And Drabik will hope that celebration is multiplied in the Czech Republic in September. A bit of a long wait for the third round this year. Last year the first round was in Poznan on this weekend, and there was a second round in Gustra in September before we went to the Czech Republic. But this time round they've now had two at this stage in late July, and they have a 2-month gap between now and the third round in Pardubice. So plenty of league racing for these boys and their various clubs in various different countries over the next couple of months before this series reconvenes at the end of September, as the podium selfie gets taken with Drabik, Smetala and Bewley. They will make their way off the rostrum and answer various questions of the media. So Drabik, as I say, 6 points in front in the series. 41, Smektala 35, Lambert 30, Kibra 25, and Bewley 21 is the top 5 in the series after 2 rounds, as the photographers get their shots. And Maxim Drabik is very much 2/3 of the way to retaining his title, because to score 41 points out of a possible 42 is pretty good going by anyone's standards, as the riders make their way off the rostrum. So Sam, to sum things up here, so we've certainly seen a lot of good racing here in Leszno, a bit of controversy towards the end, a lot of tight battling, but really Drabik is still that man.
He is the man, and he's he sealed the deal last year, and he's come into this season with some new contenders underneath him. Some of them have graduated out of the under-21s. He's still in position to go and take advantage of it, and he's done well. There's no doubt about it that the Leszno track and the Polish fans are really behind him, and for him to go out there and pull off an incredible 2 rounds and only dropping 1 point is a testament in itself.
Yep, he's 6 in front of Smektala. Lambert is 5 behind that, so they are the favourites to be the overall top 3. Kuba up 25, he has a good one in Czech Republic, where Lambert didn't have a good one last year, could get in there. Bewley on 21 is a big plus for him and for Great Britain. That's probably what, apart from the excellence of Drabik in the end, the 21-point maximum, I think the statement has been made by Bewley here this evening, who had a solid effort in the first round, but has really come of age here tonight. Bewley's performance is a real talking point.
Absolutely. Yeah, big future for a lot of these guys. Just looking over the monitors right now, I can see Madam Skornicki right there. Really good to see him.